The other two lanes will need to remain closed for now. They could reopen, though, later this morning. The work is all because of debris falling from the bottom of a bridge over the interstate. It was not caused by a vehicle hitting the bridge, though. She says they're treating it more like a pothole that will take some time to fix. Inspectors will determine if more work is needed. Check in with the traffic team in about 2 minutes now to get you an update on that South Side Drive and your commute all around town. It is 56 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says it'll be sunny, breezy today. The high possibly not making it out of the 60s. Dip back into the mid-40s tonight. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Well, the teen charged in last year's deadly shooting in Appalachian High School was due in court this morning, but that appearance is now pushed back.
A judge grants a delay in today's status hearing for Colt Gray after he's assigned a new attorney to represent him. Aisha Broderick says in a motion she needs more time to go over evidence in the case, and that Gray is still undergoing a required evaluation that has not been completed. Gray's accused of killing 2 students and 2 teachers and injuring 9 others at Appalachian High School in Barrow County at the start of the school year in 2024. He's being tried as an adult. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Happening this morning, Vice President Vance is meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem as the fragile ceasefire with Hamas appears to be strained.
Just 3 days ago, Israel briefly resumed its deadly strikes in Gaza. Israel said it was responding after Hamas militants killed 2 of its soldiers. Yet the vice president says he's optimistic the truce will hold.
Correspondent Holly Williams says Hamas has returned the remains of 2 more dead hostages to Israel overnight. It's a key part of the first phase of the peace deal, although there are serious doubts that the terror group will surrender its weapons as part of the second phase. Atlanta's biggest amusement park could be headed for some changes one day, courtesy of a big-name professional athlete.
NFL star Travis Kelce is teaming up with an investment group led by Jana Partners to push for changes at Six Flags and possibly a sale of the company. The Kansas City Chiefs tight end says he grew up going to the parks and couldn't pass up the chance to make Six Flags special for the next generation. The company operates more than 40 parks in the U.S. and Mexico, including Six Flags over Georgia, but has been struggling with falling attendance, aging properties, and debt in recent years. I'm Bloomberg's Monica Ricks for 95.5 WSB.
Well, the Coweta County Commission is moving ahead today with plans to extend a limited moratorium on new applications for data centers. Plenty of residents have told commissioners they don't want those facilities.
You ran into some difficulties trying to address data centers and things and say, this is a learning curve, and yet really is.
Yeah, but resident Ron Bachrath there says commissioners need to consider the latest technology when drafting an ordinance with limits on the centers. Some residents showed their opposition to plans for the so-called Project Peach data center in the county, saying if commissioners don't want to live next to it, they should not have to either. And Netflix looks to capitalize on the wild success of K-pop Demon Hunters.
The company says it has inked a licensing partnership with Mattel and Hasbro to develop toys, games, and other merchandise based on the breakout movie's characters. Netflix says K-pop Demon Hunters is its most popular film of all time.
Jesse Mitchell reports the movie racked up 325 million views around the world in just over 3 months. It's 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. We told you about all those problems this morning on the south side in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. It's Smile Mark McKay.
Still seeing delays as well, Judd, leaving Stockbridge past that road work in 2 right lanes. That emergency road work, I should say, on I-75 northbound. Just past Mount Zion Boulevard, exit 231. That could be active at least through lunchtime today. Traffic team will be all over it. Left lane is knocked out eastbound 166. That is Langford Parkway eastbound at Delow Drive. Watching the delays between Kennesaw and Woodstock, Ashley Frasca.
Unusual on 575 northbound, but a crash that was in the right lane at Bells Ferry moved to the shoulder. That's back open. Sluggish traffic getting out of Kennesaw and Marietta along 75 south. Crowd begins around the north 120 loop. Sluggish to 285. And a crash right now blocking the westbound lanes of C.H. James Parkway at Florence Road in Powder Springs. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy and staying cool today. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Clear and cool for tonight. Lows in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday, high 74.
It is currently 52 degrees in Mableton, 54 in Decula, 55 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
9:05 on another absolutely gorgeous morning here in North Georgia. Welcome to the Mark Arum Show. As always, we are stacked and packed. So much information to cover over the next 3 hours. 30 minutes from right now, we're going to talk to CBS News legal correspondent Thane Rosenbaum, political analyst Stephen Lawson, Scott Slade going to join us live. Deborah's got an amazing set of tickets to give away. And I guess the big issue for you and me, folks, is day 22 of the government shutdown. The TSA warning extended delays here at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International. You've been dealing with extended delays, emergency bridge repair on the south side. We'll try to get in some extra traffic coverage on those 75 north jams heading in from Henry and Clayton counties. But I want to start off, joining us live in studio, U.S. Senate candidate on the Republican side, Derek Dooley, joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Coach, good morning.
Hey, Mark, thanks for having me. And you buried the lead. We got to wish Deborah a happy birthday.
That's right. Thank you. Yes.
How do we go through that whole intro? You even mentioned Deborah, but you don't say that
That's
it's her
right.
29th birthday
Happy
today.
29th birthday, Deborah, the Rock, the executive producer of We'll shower her with accolades throughout the. But first off, is it appropriate to call you Coach still? Because that's like one of those terms. Like, we had Ambassador Andrew Young on, and he hasn't been an ambassador in forever, but that's a title that you have for life, right?
Well, I think so, but listen, I don't care what anybody. I've been called a lot of things in my life. I'm not one of those guys. You got to call me this.
Yeah.
You can call me whatever you want. Certainly, I was a coach for 28 years, so that line tends to stick with everybody.
When I go home to visit my parents, and I'll run into my football coach from high school or baseball. I mean, I've been out of school for a long time. I say, hey, Coach Carbone, how are you?
That's right.
It's always Coach.
Well, you don't realize, I mean, how many people in their lives are affected by a coach in some way, and unfortunately not always positive, sometimes negative, but it's a tremendous responsibility to be a coach because you really, truly are a mentor to young people, and you're helping them shape so many things about their growth and development, and I took it very seriously. It was an important part of my life, and I'm proud of all the people that I touched over the years.
But it's not inappropriate to call you Coach. If
No,
someone
not
wants
at
to
all.
all right,
Please,
Coach. I think
please.
that's an honor
It's
to be
actually
called
one
Coach.
of the biggest compliments you can give me.
In fact, covering, we're the home of the University of Georgia football team here. You're home of the
Go
Dogs.
Dogs.
And, in the many instances, I worked with your dad, talked with your dad, interviewed with dad. He was always Coach Dooley.
That's right.
So, and just keeping that tradition. I want to start there with your growing up a Dooley in Athens, Clark County. That's like growing up a Bush in New England, wherever they had their in Maine, I believe, Kennebunkport. That's like being a Bush in Kennebunkport, being a Dooley in Athens, Clark County.
Well, it was just I was so blessed to have a father of that kind of stature, and what a great example of leadership and how he served others and respected others. And of course, my mother was also a very popular figure. But growing up, I never really thought of it that way. I think our parents were very much, they kept us grounded as young people. Went to the public high school. I had friends from all walks of life. And so none of my friends in the community ever approached me any differently just because I was Vince Dooley's son. And I certainly didn't think I was anything better than anybody else either.
But did you feel extra pressure? So not to the level of your dad, but my father was superintendent of schools in my town. It was a known name, and I felt the pressure like I have to be on my best behavior all the time because I don't want to sully my dad's good name. Did you feel that kind of pressure growing up?
I never really felt that. I just think it sort of came naturally. I mean, he was in the spotlight. Of course, you were in the spotlight because he was in the spotlight. But, in a good way, it kind of kept you on the straight and narrow in a lot of ways.
That's my point,
and so it's not a bad thing, that people are, hey, listen, you got a name that means something in this state, and you have a responsibility to keep that name thriving. And look, it's a little bit what I'm trying to do now is to continue that legacy of service that he had. It's been so much fun for me to drive around all four corners of the state the last 2.5 months and listen to so many stories about when they met Vince Dooley or when they met Barbara Dooley. And it really just has made a real impact on me on how much he gave back to the people of this state.
Derek Dooley live in studio here on the Mark Arum Show. I'm assuming once you went into coaching, you had a conversation with your dad before that decision. Would you have, what would your dad say about you taking this, jumping into the political arena? What would that conversation have been like?
Well, I think he would understand it given my background. I was very involved in politics as a young man, you know, learning and growing and watching things on TV. When I told him I wanted to go into coach, you got to remember I was practicing law at the time here in Atlanta. I don't know if you didn't even know that. I went to law school at Georgia, and I go around the state and I say, please don't hold this against me, but I was a lawyer in my first life. And he looked at me like, have you lost your mind?
As I would have if I was your dad with a law degree.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, you know, then he understood. I mean, he understood. There was something it wasn't that I didn't like practicing law. I mean, it was very stimulating in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But there was something that I was missing. It was I wanted to go out there and lead and serve and make an impact in a different way. And it started a real long 28-year career that I haven't regretted one bit of.
Not at all. God, if I can imagine if I had a law degree and I told my parents, hey, I'm going into radio, they would have disowned me. But I didn't have they're like, all right, whatever you do to make a living, go ahead and do radio and television. Let's talk about your mom. On board with the political foray?
Oh, you know she is now. And in fact, she ran for Congress years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. She lost a very tough race. I think she lost by 400 votes. It still guts her to this day. But as you know, my mother really does not have a filter on. She will. It's the strategy of speak first, think second. And when I told her I was thinking about doing this, I said, Mom, I might have to put you on a cruise ship for a year and sail around because we got to be careful about what we say. But I was talking to one of the former senators in Georgia, and he says, you know something, Derek, you just got to let Barbara be Barbara. And that's what she's been. She's a big supporter. She's always been supportive of everything I've done. I've been like just so grateful to have a mother who loves you so much and supports you so much, but also brings this great sense of humor. She never takes herself too seriously. And I've taken a lot of those traits with me.
Yeah, I had the honor to meet her a couple times up in Athens, and she used to come to the station once in a while. She used to do commercials for it was a gardening product. I forgot what it was, but she'd come in, and it was always a delight to see her.
Well, you always know when she enters the room.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
she certainly doesn't come in quietly.
Absolutely. Can we talk about college football for a second?
Let's do it.
So I grew up in New England, and college football was a non-entity.
Right.
You know, in my high school, you had some Notre Dame fans, but there was no one to root for. Like, we just didn't have that. Whatever the game was on, we would do it. And I moved down to the South, and I got an eye-opening experience. My first ever college football game was at Sanford Stadium, and I was just started at WSB Radio, and I got to tailgate after the game with Larry Munson. I didn't know who he was at the time, and I'm like, all these co-eds are running up to this guy. Who is this guy? So I've become an adopted Bulldogs fan. I love college football, but the NIL era now, is this going to break college football? I'm pretty sure that Nick Saban walked away from college football coaching because he didn't want to have to deal with budgets and you know, being a general manager and paying players. Is this sustainable, the current system?
Well, it's sustainable once we really get our arms around and get some sort of level playing rules around it. You know, college football players have always had an opportunity to make money. You could get jobs, that sort of thing. And so that isn't anything new. What is new is they're making it really off, like you say, their name, image, and likeness. And the important thing is that there's some rules that everybody's playing with to create some level of competitive equity. And they've already started that process. I think the biggest thing that we need to get our arms around is the transfer portal. Everybody talks about NIL and the money. What really has changed things is this ability to every year jump schools. Now, there's one good thing that's happened. If you've noticed, it's brought these elite teams down a notch and brought a lot of teams who typically aren't in the conversation up a notch. So there's a lot more parity. It's spread the quarterbacks around. These games are becoming more and more competitive. So that's been a real positive. The negative that we got to watch out for is we can't forget what college athletics does to young people. It really teaches so many values that they're going to carry on the rest of their life. And part of those values is learning how to persevere and work through things when it gets tough, overcoming adversity. And what concerns a lot of the coaches now is you want to be able to still coach and develop young people in a tough way.
But can you do that now? Because when you were coaching, It was a tough job, right? Coaching college football at that level is a Herculaneum job. But now you have to add in the transfer portal. All right, do I have to make sure everyone's going to stay here? How much is this linebacker getting paid more than this? Like, it just takes it. It's like a corporation now. I can't imagine trying to be a head coach in an SEC school.
Well,
right
you
now.
mentioned Nick Saban. I was fortunate to coach with Nick for 9 years. I mean, he was like a mentor, second father to me in a lot of ways. His system was he would get the best players. He was a phenomenal recruiter, but then he would, I call it bending the twig. He made it hard on them, and they got frustrated, and they learned how to play for each other and play for something bigger than themselves. And it took them a couple of years to overcome a lot of frustration and learn how to mature as a person and as an athlete. And then they came out these great players. Well, now what you're seeing is the minute it gets tough, they all say, well, I'm going to go to the next school.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit the concern. And I think once college athletics gets its arm around the transfer portal, how many times you can transfer, the number of times in a year, that's going to help sort of stabilize it. But look, everybody says college this is a disaster. It's more popular now than it's ever been. And it's just a tremendous sport. It does a tremendous good for our country, not just in the development of young people, but it also brings people together from all walks of life where they have this common goal. This is my team. And we pull together and we cheer together and we hug each other and we cry together. And that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, it's left, right, and center. Tailgating outside of Sanford Stadium, right? There's no politics there. It's just go Dogs.
That's right.
Coach, great to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck going forward. Is there a website or social media that we can point folks to?
Yes, DooleyForGeorgia.com. I'd love for you to go, and I'd love to come back and talk a little bit about politics. And, I'm certainly not your typical political candidate. I mean, I have a lot of love for this country. I have a lot of love and pride in being from Georgia. And I just think we need new leadership up in D.C. the same way we had an outsider in our president go up there and not accept business as usual. We need that sort of common sense outsider to go up there in the Senate because I know this. I've always said this. If you're happy with what's going on in D.C. politics right now, I'm not your guy. I think we need a new way of looking at things and people that are going to go up there for the right reasons, and that's why I'm running.
My favorite D.C. defensive coordinator. Coach, good to see you,
All
my
right,
friend.
thank you, Mark.
All right, we've been following big delays on Atlanta's south side. Let's go live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Hello and good morning, Mike Shields.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Yeah, I've been watching this since before 3:50 this morning, and the repair work continues on 75 northbound just before Jonesboro Road, Highway 54, exit 233. Now, the good news is not worth an alternate anymore. After traffic was stopped for nearly 4 hours, things moving much better now as the right lane remains blocked, but delays start back just before Mount Zion Boulevard. So stick with 75 north through Morrow, getting up to I-285. Getting slow now in DeKalb County with roadwork setting up. I-20 eastbound approaching Panola Road, exit 71, already slow back before Wesley Chapel Road. Their support is brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of common threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Incorporated. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app,
If you have the WSB
all
app,
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app,
all the local and breaking news alerts you need.
breaking news in Cobb County,
All in one place.
we'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
I've been forecasting sunshine for you for 40 years. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns, and now I'm excited with the sunshine inside my home. It's bigger and brighter thanks to my Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows. They're not big and bulky like vinyl composite windows. Fiberglass is stronger with narrower frames that brighten your home with more daylight and bigger views.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Temps in the 40 yesterday. When I woke up, it was chilly. When it's chilly outside, you put on a hat, right? Keep the warm in your body. But when you get to the office, you got to take the hat off. Are you worried about exposing your receding hairline, your bald spots, your thinning hair? If that is a concern for you, and it might not, I want you to check out my friends at Advanced Hair. They combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. Quick, simple one-day treatment, and your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, and it's even guaranteed to grow for life. If you want your hair back, now's the time, and Advanced Hair is the place. Takes just one visit, guys, but first you need a free consultation. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com, and if you move forward, you'll get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Advancedhair.com.
We are here with CFP Matthew Decker of the Vincent Financial Group and host of Retire ATL. And Matt, you've said that income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. But what income streams require the most attention?
Yeah, so if you've got a pension or if you're living off of Social Security, you kind of know those income streams show up in your mailbox. That's mailbox money. It's almost like you're still working, and it doesn't really require that much attention. But most people that come into the office today, they are having to use their 401ks, their IRAs, SEP Simples, 403bs that are invested in the market to generate income. And anytime you're going to use a market-linked asset where you have to go in and decide when you're going to buy and sell to generate your income, it takes a ton more effort, energy, and attention to get that piece of the puzzle right. But it doesn't actually have to be that way.
So, Matt, the number one fear of adults in retirement is outliving their money. How do we get started building income today?
Well, you can get started today. You'd call us for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement roadmap. We want to build a GPS for you that's going to help navigate retirement, and it's going to have a focus on building and preserving income. 770-280-1488. We've got a representative standing by to talk to you right now. 770-280-1488. Our home office is in downtown Woodstock, but we are available across the metro Atlanta area to meet with you at a time and place that fits your schedule. Again, 770-280-1488 or online at retireatlradio.com.
The team at Vincent Financial Group want to help preserve your assets while building retirement income that lasts as long as you do. Call today for your complimentary retirement roadmap, 770-280-1488. And you can always get more at retireatlradio.com and join us for Retire ATL Sundays at 6 p.m. right here on WSB.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
If you're hearing scratching, scampering, scurrying noises in your attic, you, my friends, have squirrels. It's Mark Aram here. Getting squirrels out of your home is challenging, and you certainly need an experienced pro to do the job right. Better get Breda to kick them out before those squirrely scoundrels start running an Airbnb in your attic for all the critters in your neighborhood. And those squirrels are not leaving without a fight. Trust me, they'll chew their way back in over and over again. You need the Breda Wildlife Guarantee to cover every entry point, old and new. The other guys only guarantee the entry point they seal, so each time that squirrel chews a new hole, it'll cost you hundreds of dollars more. The squirrels, trust me, will keep coming back, and so will Breda. Under the Breda Wildlife Guarantee, you stay protected and at no additional cost. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like squirrels. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
One of the greatest movies of all time, one of the greatest actors of all time. That might be a stretch, but he's amazing. Happy 87th birthday, actor Christopher Lloyd. Doc Brown in I think it's 1985's Back to the Future. 1985 might be the greatest year in cinematic history. I'll save that discussion for another day, but Doc Brown, to me, though, his greatest performance ever was Jim Ignatowski in Taxi. The kids don't know about Taxi anymore.
You can stream it all. It's on several of the platforms.
That's a top 10 sitcom of all time is Taxi. If you are taking a taxi right now to the world's busiest airport, Deborah, we got a warning from the TSA. I'm assuming this is government-related shutdown on what delays we might expect.
Yeah, the government shutdown's still going on. Day 22, TSA is warning you're going to start seeing a lot more security delays if it drags on because they're not necessarily doing sick outs like they've been proposed, but, they're having to make these calls like, do I stay and work for free or do I have to get another job to make ends meet? And if that's the case, they might have to leave those positions or possibly use up any vacation, sick days that they have just so that they can make some extra money.
Speaking of the airport, we're going to have an update on that horrific shooting that was thwarted at the airport the other day. We'll update that. But the government shutdown continues, day 22. President Trump says he'll meet with Democratic leaders on one condition. CBS's Linda Kenyon has more from the White House.
Democrats say they want to discuss the government shutdown with President Trump before he leaves for the Asia summit on Friday. The president says, okay, but with this caveat.
I would love to meet with them. We want the country open first.
Senate Democrats have been demanding the president and Senate Republicans extend expiring tax subsidies that help millions of Americans pay for their health care under the Affordable Care Act. Republicans say that issue could be discussed at a later time, although they gave no indication about when. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
A little bit later in the show, we're going to check in with correspondent Rory O'Neill on the shutdown, the government shutdown. I don't see any movement, Deborah. I did see on one of the cable news channels this morning, Republican senators, I forgot who said this, but they were interviewed, and they said, if we want this shutdown to end, President Trump has to get to the negotiating table, leaning on his deal-making resume, right, and his reputation. And I wish I'd written it down, and I probably wouldn't be able to read my handwriting anyway, but it was a Republican senator saying this shutdown will end if we can get President Trump to the negotiating table, because he is, the master negotiator. So I don't know if that is, trying to call President Trump to the table. I mean, this isn't a Democratic senator saying, it's a Republican senator. Speaking of the deal making, there will be this is sad news, there will be no summit in Hungary. It was supposed to be in Budapest. President Trump was going to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. That summit is now off. So any hopes, we thought maybe at least a ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine war, that has gone by the wayside. We're going to go to Patrick Reveal from ABC News in London a little bit later on the show. But coming up next, this story came out of nowhere. All those investigations that President Trump was facing before he was elected by the Department of Justice. Apparently, he is going to ask the Department of Justice for $230 million for his trouble having to deal with that. Is it legal? Can it happen? Is there a conflict of interest? A very unique, interesting story. We're going to go in depth with that. CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum going to join us live after news, weather, and traffic. Social media is up and active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits, like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Jed Hickenbotham. News this half hour brought to you by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Our top story is happening this hour and throughout the morning. Crews continue to work on an overpass on I-75 in Clayton County near Highway 54. It was shut down for much of the morning when debris came falling from above. 3 lanes have since reopened on the interstate, but the DOT's Natalie Dale says there is still plenty of work to do.
We have to get in there and refill that bridge joint, seal up that bridge joint until we can get in and make a more substantive repair.
Yeah, it could be a while before the other 2 lanes reopened, though. Dale saying the debris had nothing to do with something hitting the bridge, but rather it's more like a pothole. We're still seeing some delays from the issue. Saw massive delays earlier this morning. Going to check in with the traffic center and Mike Shields in about 2 minutes to update your commute. It is currently 56 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the breeze will kick up today. Temperature will stay down, may not make it over 70 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight's low dips back into the mid-40s. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Governor Kemp is now on his way to South Korea. Comes just 6 weeks after federal agents raided a massive Hyundai battery plant in South Georgia, causing tensions there. This trip was planned before that drama happened. The governor expected to meet with the leaders of corporations with plants in our state, try to reaffirm the relationship between Georgia and South Korea. An Atlanta police officer is recovering in the hospital this morning after being seriously injured when his cruiser slammed into a home in northwest Atlanta.
Atlanta police have now released the name of that injured officer. Malik Safi was racing to help another officer who had requested assistance when he left the roadway and hit the house on James P. Brawley Drive. The crash sparked a fire and 3 bystanders quickly removed the injured Safi from his vehicle. A person inside the home was not injured, and Atlanta fire crews responded to extinguish the blaze. The Georgia State Patrol is now conducting the crash investigation. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Another vote expected today in the Senate on a budget deal to try and reopen the government, along with another vote as well.
Today's Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he plans to bring up the House GOP's clean bill to reopen the government through mid-November. A vote for the 12th time with no clear sign much has changed.
Correspondent Jared Hill says we reached day number 22 of the shutdown. Democrats continue to push for tax credits under the Affordable Care Act that were removed under a spending plan passed earlier this year. Republicans, though, say they want a temporary deal in place and the government reopened before they will negotiate. And new findings show medical experts need to be more selective when prescribing antidepressants.
How antidepressants affect the body can vary widely based on which one you take. A study in The Lancet found different drugs impact a patient's heart rate, blood pressure, and weight in different ways.
Reporter Michael George says the study finds while some medications cause a patient to lose weight, others actually cause them to gain weight. But researchers insist these findings should not deter patients from taking antidepressants if they are needed. It's 9:33 as we check your money. A down start on Wall Street. Not too down, though. The Dow is down about 50 points. S&P and NASDAQ are down just very slightly. Now, live team coverage of traffic and weather. We told you about those south side delays. The WSB 24-hour traffic center. How are they looking, Mike Shields?
Yeah, much better, Judd. The good news is the left lanes, 3 left lanes opened about 2 hours ago at 7:30, but that's before about 4 hours of all lanes being shut down after a large hole appeared on 75 northbound right over Meadowbrook Lane, so just before Jonesboro Road, Highway 54 exit 233. The crews remain in the right lane repairing that work, and the delays now really just start right at Mount Zion Boulevard. So not worth getting off the interstate. Stick with I-75. You'll do just fine through Morrow getting up to I-285, but slow and go through downtown as the morning volume continues. 75-85 northbound bumper to bumper leaving the airport, getting past I-20. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Sunny, breezy, and cool today with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour, pulling in that cooler, drier air. Lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday with highs in the mid-70s.
Currently 53 degrees and coming, 54 in Union City, and 56 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
We've all been
Jam
there.
starting at Langford Parkway.
Counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Jammed from I-85 down towards Ponce.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
Stay slow once you're inside the perimeter as well.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
75 northbound heading up to Cobb County through Marietta and Kennesaw.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
I would like to meet with both of them, but I set one little caveat. I will only meet if they let the country open. They have to let the country open.
President Trump, day 22 of the government shutdown. A story involving the president and the DOJ that I didn't see coming. We'll talk to legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum in 2 minutes on The Mark Arum Show.
Considering a new roof? FGA Roofing offers a free roof assessment. Mention Tim Andrews and your free quote will be discounted $750. And that's good for 1 year. Ask about their 0% financing plans. Visit FGARoofing.com for a quote today.
We're having a party and you're invited. Join Centerwell Senior Primary Care for our free grand opening party. Come meet our care team and tour the new center. Plus, food, music, games, and more. Celebrate with Centerwell East Spalding on Wednesday, November 5th, off Charles Hardy Parkway near the Walmart from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Learn more at CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. That's CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. We'll see you soon.
I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. I've been in banking for over 30 years, and my team and I know that businesses have the best results when they work with local bankers who know the Atlanta market. Bankers who will work to understand your business operations and bring good ideas to the table. At Ameris Bank, we do that. I invite you to reach out so we can start a conversation. Visit amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
Hey y'all, it's Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I'm so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. And Four Seasons Home Care was so helpful to my family throughout the process. I get emails from listeners all the time and why I trusted Four Seasons Home Care. They tell me I don't want just anyone to care for my parents. Well, of course you don't. So here's why I work with Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company. They vet and hire every single one of their caregiving specialists, and they don't farm out the care to contractors, and they're not some national corporation. So here's my advice, folks. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. Do your homework. This is a huge decision. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
9:37 on this Wednesday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Welcome back, Deborah, celebrating her birthday. And in honor of her birthday, she's going to give away a couple of great prizes. That's how generous she is. She's happy birthday, Deborah, from all of us here at WSB Radio. Coming up in 30 minutes, political analyst Stephen Lawson joining us live in studio. Scott Slade joining us live at 10:35. We will go to London, get the latest on the Russia-Ukraine war, and we'll go back to D.C. To update the government shutdown day 22. Speaking of D.C., this story popped yesterday. I did not see it coming. President Trump may still be seeking hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation from the Justice Department for past investigations into him. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang has more.
Many of the officials working in the Justice Department, including the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, either represented the president himself or those in his orbit. The president was asked about this in the Oval Office, and he sort of made a joke and said, yeah, it's a lot of money, and said he would probably give it to charity. But that still offers no clarity about this potential conflict of interest, because it is those very Justice Department officials who now have the authority to authorize this payment or not.
Yeah, I needed some clarity on this story. So we reached out to CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum, who joins us live on the show. Thane, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, my friend.
What's going on with this $230 million?
Well, it's worse actually than what your analyst just said, because it's not just that the Justice Department is going to oversee whether the payment gets made. It's that two of Donald Trump's lawyers who represented him in those very prosecutions, they are the ones now who are senior level justice officials who will sign off. So it would look weird enough if the Justice Department wrote a check to the President of the United States for malicious prosecution or whatever it is that they ultimately conclude. But in this case, it's not even independent prosecutors in the Justice Department. It would look bad anyway, because they would be working in the Justice Department, and the Justice Department is in the executive branch of the Trump administration. But Todd Blanche, right, Donald Trump's chief lawyer, in many of those cases, again, the federal criminal cases, he's now the deputy attorney general. He's the number 2 guy. So, then the question becomes, well, and surely he and the other guy should recuse themselves, right? They shouldn't be involved in this. But Donald Trump has already said, I don't really like recusals because
Jeff
this
Sessions
came up. Yeah, exactly. He said, I didn't understand that. I thought he was my lawyer. I didn't know he represented the Constitution. I thought he worked for me. And I was very, very surprised. And I would have never picked him if I knew that when the Mueller investigation commenced, that my attorney general would walk out the door and say, I'm sorry, Mr. President, I don't want to be involved in this because I have a conflict of interest. We'll appoint someone else. So that's really what's going on here. Now, of course, this has never happened before.
Yeah.
But then again, as you know, I'm down the middle, buddy. I do not take sides.
Yeah.
But then again, no president in the history of our country was subject to 3 criminal prosecutions when he left office, and one while the Mueller investigation when he was in his first term.
Sure.
So, nothing like that's ever happened where we were going after a president under federal criminal law. And in my case, as you know, I've been one of those people who was somewhat skeptical about a number of those cases. You can bring them if you want, but they seem to me to be a stretch. So for those people who are outraged, I understand this is outrageous and represents a tremendous ethical breach, but the breach was brought on by a lot of criminal prosecutions. Trump is not wrong when he said, I spent $10 million of my own money on legal fees.
Let me jump in for a second. Take the uniqueness of this situation out, that it's the President of the United States, and these investigations went away when he was elected. How often do people request judgments from the Department of Justice in general? Is this a common thing where people are like, hey, I was wrongly prosecuted, I want you to pay me $5 million or whatever?
Well, remember, this isn't a lawsuit. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right? That's what even makes this even a little more ethically compromised. This is like what they call an administrative proceeding, as if to say, let's try to do this inside. Let's make this go away inside so that you don't have to file a lawsuit. Let's investigate inside, which again means, well, if it's inside, do they even have to tell the public that they wrote them a check? Maybe not. Maybe say, we took care of this administratively, internally. But yes, no, have been situations, the Central Park 5 here in New York, right? Here's an example of 5 people that were accused of the Central Park rape of the jogger. And they lost their teenage lives in jail, and they may have not been angels, but there was evidence that would have exonerated them as the actual rapists. So yes, the government is sometimes subject to civil lawsuits for damages for people who were wrongfully prosecuted or maliciously prosecuted.
Yeah, I was about to say, does it have to be a malicious prosecution? And if so, can the president say that, well, I was being maliciously prosecuted in these cases?
Well, remember, this is what the decision is of Todd Blanche and the other deputy attorney general. They have to say the following questions. And this would be the case in any case like in the ones that you're proposing. They would say, are we subject to risk if this goes to trial? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have risk here? That's what all settlements are about. Lawyers decide, you know what? There's a risk. The risk is we get hammered. The risk is we could look horrible. And maybe we should just write a check and make this go away. So, yes, it's simply because the government loses a case doesn't necessarily make it malicious, right? The government loses all kinds of cases. So the question of standard of what represents malice, right, is a higher standard to say, what was the evidence? But look, let's face it. Let's look at the Mueller investigation. What was the principal source of evidence? This is what Judge James Comey is going to have to face again. He may be smug about it, but he's still going to have to answer the fundamental question. What was the principal piece of evidence that made you get started? What were you focused on? And if it was the Steele dossier, which is the opposition research paid for by the Clinton campaign, That's not good.
Yeah.
That's just not good. And you can hate Donald Trump all you want. Most people do. But I'm going to say to you as your legal analyst, well, that wasn't not good. The FBI, guys like Adam Schiff said, I saw the evidence. I saw evidence. And he didn't. He didn't see anything. And the people of California voted him in as their next U.S. senator. So that's what Trump is talking about. He's talking about that. And the fact that he's saying, I'm giving it to charity is actually interesting. Well, you know what he's saying? You don't need to reimburse me. I just want the truth to be told. I want my day in court. And I want the American people to understand that the government went after me. The Biden administration went. By the way, this investigation into the prosecution of President Trump actually began before Donald Trump was elected.
Yeah.
They started it, which means he's finishing it, but they started it. So maybe there was some basis to say, should Jack Smith have brought those 3 cases? Let's take a look.
Perimeter anywhere between I-20 and I-75 Truist Park, and on the east side, I-20 and I-85 Spaghetti Junction. Good news, though, as you leave Alpharetta through Roswell, crash just cleared in Sandy Springs, Georgia 400 southbound at Northridge Road, exit 6. All lanes back open, but still sluggish as you leave Old Milton Parkway, exit 10. This report is brought to you by True Natural Gas. Bigfoot probably isn't true. He certainly isn't local. See something both local and true? Visit TrueNaturalGas.com. They're a local company with honest pricing and truly low rates. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
We only want to be around people who think exactly like us.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
God forbid you actually converse about the world.
Eric Von Hessler.
Smash and conquer, my friend.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
If you're ready for real European car lovers to work on your Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, discover Wolfpan European Auto Repair in Roswell. And for a limited time, get a free second opinion on repairs when you mention you heard about Wolfpan on the radio. Search Wolfpan Auto Repair to get started.
A stunning home calls for stunning exterior craftsmanship. That's why you trust the Plus. Painting Plus. They have the most experienced exterior craftsmen in the industry.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
Painting Plus. The Plus means anything and everything exteriors at the highest quality. Your complete exterior solution.
Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
My holiday lights are up, the ladder's in the garage, and I'm safe inside. Wise Guys Lights handles everything, install, maintenance, and takedown, and first-time customers save $150 when they mention me, Chris Chandler, before October 31st. Don't wait, book now at wiseguyslights.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the costs of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
9:52 on the Mark Arum Show. Gorgeous, gorgeous weather. Thanks again, Christine Edwards, her full 5-day forecast at the top of the hour. Continue our team coverage of day 22 of the government shutdown. Joining us on the show, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning. Earlier in the broadcast, we mentioned TSA here at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport warning commuters and travelers of extended delays, flight delays, cancellations. Is this putting any extra pressure on lawmakers to reopen the government?
Well, I think that is a big part of it, though, the airport and the air traffic control and TSA, but I think that's why we haven't really seen more pressure on Congress, because unless you've got a trip to a national park or going to the Smithsonian and the National Zoo, you may not really be faced with some of these impacts. But it's going to start to pop up. If you need a delicate situation handled with the Social Security Administration, maybe the phone calls are going unanswered, or emails and web forms, there are no replies. And if you have an issue with the IRS and, with a pending application for the EPA, trying to get flood insurance for a new home purchase can be extra complicated, if even possible at all. So there are, again, these little ways that it keeps on popping up and getting more frustrating for life, for day-to-day America.
So these little issues that could pop up generically in an average American's life, could these start snowballing into more and more people getting frustrated and more pressure being put on the lawmakers?
Well, that's what it is. And look, the calendar is going to start to play a factor here. We're going to have the first of the month coming up. That's going to be a lot of federal workers who haven't gotten paid in a while. Suddenly the rent is due, putting pressure on the landlords. Now the landlord's got bills he's got to pay or she's got to pay. So there are a whole, it does start to have that cascading effect. And I think we'll see it with the first of the month. And then you've got the fact that this whole continuing resolution that the Democrats won't sign on to, now it is only going to last for less than a month at this point. Still, the end date is going to be November 21st on that resolution. So, we're going to be back here again in just a matter of weeks.
Yeah, I'd already circled the first of the month because that's when Obamacare open enrollment begins. But I didn't even think, first of the month, hey, your rent's due, your mortgage is due. For all those federal workers that haven't been get paid yet, that is going to be a very important day on the calendar. Roy, I also want to talk about this story, if you don't mind. President Trump announced that they were going to start buying beef from Argentina to supplement the supply here. Apparently, beef ranchers here in America are not too happy about this policy.
Yeah, a lot of things going on here. So the record beef prices are now at a record high here in the U.S. And obviously, you go to the supermarket, you're like, oh, how's the pork looking this week? Because even hamburger prices are close to $7 a pound. So that's one of the issues the president was talking about. But keep in mind, the President Trump and President of Argentina are tight. They support one another. President Trump has already authorized $20 billion in a currency swap to help bail out Argentina's failing economy. Another $20 billion going in through sovereign wealth funds and other investors. So $40 billion to help bail out Argentina. At the same time, the tariff war that the U.S. is having with China, well, China said, we're not going to buy your soybeans, America. we're going to buy them from Argentina. And China has already been investing heavily in Argentina because it has lithium and rare earth materials that they want to get their hands on. So you've got soybean farmers in the U.S. losing their biggest customer in China because of Trump policies. And now the president's saying, oh, hey, let's bring in some of that Argentinian beef, too. So now you've got American ranchers saying, hey, that's not fair. We're already facing higher costs on our end. So the whole agriculture sector is feeling like it got a 1-2 punch. Even senators from very red Republican states like Nebraska and Iowa are saying, hey, wait a minute now, Mr. President. These are the people that supported your campaign from day one.
Yeah, really tough time right now to be a farmer and or a rancher. Correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, as always, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks, Mark.
That rare earth mineral story is a big one. We're going to talk to Joe Doe from Bloomberg News about China's domination in the rare earth minerals, gang. I'm hungry, so let's do a food story, Deborah. This is a crazy story. I'm just going to call it the chicken wing smuggler. Now you're thinking, why would you need to smuggle chicken wings? Well, if you are where do you need to get chicken wings smuggled into you?
Yeah, a corrections officer in Travis County, Texas, was arrested on misdemeanor contraband charges after smuggling chicken wings into a jail for $50. Now, an inmate was actually busted for having a phone, so they were investigating, what's on this phone, and they see these messages between him and the corrections officer. And so he's just like, look, I asked if he would buy the wings. He said he would. He basically rolled on the officer immediately. Yeah. But he said he did give him $50. And then they showed him the messages that they provided chicken wings. And he even made a Cash App transaction through the phone. And then they went through the surveillance footage and they saw the officer pick up the delivery, eat some wings, and then take them over to the inmate.
He took a little tax. He took a tariff on the chicken.
Yep.
Did it say where the wings were?
Oh, yeah. It's got the specific order of habanero mango chicken wings from Wingstop.
Great advertisement for our Wingstop. Our wings are so good, people are smuggling them into prison. Now I want wings. Prison's a different world, man. Let us never find out, Longoria, what the hell's going on in there, my friends. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic in 2. When we come back, updating our top local stories and political analyst Stephen Lawson live in studio. Straight ahead on The Mark Arum Show.
Scott Slade from iRoofer FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but unsure about timing? FGA offers a free drone roof assessment. Get a quote and mention me and you'll get $1,000 off your quote. And the quote will be good for 12 months. Search FGA Roofing to book an appointment today.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Beaver Direct Certified, providing the highest quality vehicles at the very best prices. Every vehicle undergoes rigorous reconditioning with the industry-leading 12-month, 12,000-mile certified warranty. Visit us at BeaverToyotaCumming.com and see why everyone loves Beaver Direct.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, October 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
If you're seeing dust on the baseboards, it's time to call Zerorez Air Duct Cleaning. Mention WSB to get $50 off your next cleaning. Use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroRezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, it's the right way to clean.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
news,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Happening right now, repairs underway on that bridge on I-75 south of Atlanta after a hole led to hours-long shutdown this morning.
The hole's in a bridge over Meadowbrook Lane in Clayton County. The Georgia DOT's Natalie Dale compares it to a major pothole, but says since it's on a bridge, it has a much different impact.
We have to get in there and refill that bridge joint, seal up that bridge joint until we can get in and make a more substantive repair.
She says those additional repairs will likely happen soon.
It is likely that we will have to come back and do some work at a later time today or throughout the week.
Officials haven't said what caused the hole to form. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, today your weather mostly sunny, breezy, staying on the cool side. Highs only in the upper 60s to lower 70s, and it's going to be windy. Some of those winds gusting up to 20, 25 miles an hour, according to WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Happening now, Governor Kemp on his way to South Korea. This comes just 6 weeks after federal agents raided that massive Hyundai battery plant in South Georgia. Now, this trip was planned before that happened. The governor expected to meet with the leaders of corporations with plants located here in our state to try to reaffirm the relationship between Georgia and South Korea. The Secret Service says a man was arrested after he drove into a White House security gate late last night. It happened just after 10:30 on the southwest side of the White House grounds. The Secret Service said the man was immediately arrested, his car deemed safe after it was assessed. The man was taken to the hospital for mental health services. Officials have not said if this crash was intentional or not. This is National Teen Driver Safety Week, which is an opportunity for parents and young drivers to review important safety practices. One thing that is often overlooked is the condition of your tires.
Alex Bibiak lost his teenage son tragically in an accident caused by bald tires. He started the Road Ready Foundation to raise awareness about tire safety and says one easy step is checking for tire tread depth.
The quarter test, you stick George Washington's head into the tread, and if you can see above the top of George Washington's head, that's your first sign that I'm probably going to have to replace these tires.
He says proper inflation is also a true safety issue and says tires that are more than 6 years old, regardless of their mileage, should be replaced because they begin to decompose from the inside. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, 3 Coca-Cola products under recall today because they may have pieces of metal in them. The FDA saying that some of the 35-pack and 12-pack cases of canned Coke Zero, Coke, and Sprite may be impacted. Well, the Louvre in Paris is now reopened again after that jewelry heist, thieves making off with more than $100 million in broad daylight. These folks from the States are in Paris today, and they're shocked at the theft, says it was something like you'd see in the movies.
Astonishing that they were able to do something like that in such a short amount of time with no one really noticing what was going on. Right. So it really was like an ultimate heist in the middle of the day.
It almost sounded like a movie.
Just like a movie.
The brazen heist was carried out in less than 8 minutes 3 days ago. The 4 thieves dressed up like construction workers used a truck-mounted basket lift and power tools to make off with the crown jewels. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently down 103 at 46,821. NASDAQ also down slightly, so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. Still dealing with construction delays as we have every morning this week along Highway 316 westbound through Lawrenceville. Barrels are out in the right lane there before High Hope Road and looking for something new, possibly in a right lane or right center lane, 85 southbound around Pleasant Hill, and heads up for a tractor trailer crash that has Moreland Avenue southbound blocked in East Atlanta at Ormwood Avenue. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy and staying cool today. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Clear and cool for tonight. Lows in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday, high 74.
It is 55 degrees right now in Marietta, 56 in Lithia Springs and Johns Creek. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Wednesday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:04, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Everyone here on Deborah's birthday. She is the executive producer of the program. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Vinny Drip screens your calls. Coming up in 30 minutes, Scott Slade's going to join us live. 11 o'clock hour, Deborah, even on her birthday, is giving back not one but two sets of tickets to give away, including, correct me if I'm wrong, Deborah, another pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams and Pat Benatar live in concert
That's
together.
right, next month, yep.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, so happy birthday, by the way, Deborah. You can wish Deborah a happy birthday on the open mic, or send her a message on markaram.com.
Sure.
Or, send her money on her Cash App or Venmo or whatever you want to do, because this show would not happen without Deborah Green. And it wouldn't happen with political analyst Stephen Lawson at a new time, coming in early, coming in hot, 10:05 here on the Mark Aram Show. Good morning, Stephen. How are you, my friend?
Early for you on a Wednesday, my friend.
Yeah, indeed. So I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, U.S. Senate candidate, GOP candidate, Derek Dooley, joined us for a little sit-down interview. Just wanted to get to know Coach Dooley, because I really didn't know much about him before he announced his senatorial race.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it sounded like a good conversation from what I caught. Everybody that interacts with him one-on-one has positive things to say. Very nice guy. Obviously has a coaching career, and he's sort of hinged his campaign really on that coaching career. Obviously, some people that resonates with, some people it doesn't, but it'll be interesting to kind of see it as he continues to travel the state and meet with people, how that resonates, right, and how he's received. I think it's still a little early, based on some of the polling that we've seen, to get a real good feel. But again, as you and I have talked, he does have the backing of Governor Kemp and his political operation.
Yeah, which
I
is
think
huge.
that will be it's definitely an asset for him.
I didn't ask him this because I didn't want to put him on the spot, but he's coached college football all over the SEC, and we talked about Coach Saban. Is there a scenario? Is there a world in which we start getting like a Nick Saban endorsement on the Senate race here in Georgia? Is that out of the realm of possibility?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's. I don't look. This is Georgia politics.
Yeah.
Nothing's out of the realm of possibility, right? No, I could totally see that. They obviously have a long history. Going back to coaching together, Alabama. Obviously, Coach Dooley coached at the University of Tennessee. That's probably what he's most known for. I don't know how Georgia fans would react to that.
That's a good point.
And maybe that's why they're holding that back. But yeah, I think obviously he's Derek Dooley's certainly leaning into the football history, experience, analogies, and so it's football season. We'll see how that works out.
Go Dogs. I didn't prep you for this because this story came up yesterday. We talked about it. I never heard of this guy, Paul Ingracia.
Yes.
So he was nominated to lead the Office of Special Counsel. He withdrew his nomination after we got a ton of offensive text messages that he sent to a group chat. This on the heels of the Young Republicans texting. As a political advisor, I mean, there have to be conversations, not just Republicans, because I'm sure Democrats are having similar off-putting conversations that haven't come to light yet. There's got to be politics 101. Like anything you send in a group chat or an email, just expect that to be released to the public, right? There's got to be some sort of conversation going on right now.
Politics 101, life 101, anything that you put in writing in this day and age, you need to make sure that you are comfortable with that being public, right? In this digital age, this social media age that we live in. Certainly, obviously, the texts from the Republican group chat and then this Paul Ingracia are extremely offensive. There is absolutely no room for any of that. And look, like that's the risk you run when you say things like that. You run the risk of them becoming public, especially when you're in positions of somewhat prominence or in the political sphere. You need to take note, and certainly candidates are not immune to that.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think we're going to see more of that. That tit for tat kind of unearthing of past statements. Right, that's part and parcel of any campaign, but certainly in this social media digital age. That's certainly the case.
And I should mention too, this is actually it's not a text message chain that was revealed, but the main Democrat running for the oyster farmer guy. He's running to take on Susan Collins in Maine for that, what some say might be a vulnerable Senate seat. Former Marine. Some stuff came out about him, some posts on Reddit that he made years ago, and a tattoo he got that could be construed as Nazi symbolism. So now he's having to walk this back, and he basically said, oh, I was a Marine. We were somewhere overseas. We got drunk. We got a tattoo. We went to the tattoo parlor. We're like, oh, Skull and Bones. Let's do that. We're Marines. He didn't know that, if he's telling the truth or not, that there was some sort of tie to Nazi imagery there. So that's now a subject in that Maine Senate race. And he's even said, oh, I'll get it covered up, pleading ignorance. I mean, anything you do from the age of 13 to whenever you run from office is pretty much fair game now.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And obviously that's, as candidates right across the country begin to make the decision whether or not they want to run for political office, like that's the first conversation you have, right, is with your family. But then, do a lot of candidates and campaigns do a vulnerability report on themselves, right, to make sure that, all of their past statements are above board. And look, that's a reason why a lot of people don't run for political office, right? Is because, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one of the smart ones, right?
Yeah.
But even things that we've all said things that we probably regret, but it's to another level, right? When you're running for political office, because that microscope is just so much bigger. But certainly, I think what you're seeing here with these Republican group chats and that example, people are being held to account, and I think that's the right course of action.
And it's the digital age too, which I think is a factor here. So in the Reagan 80s, there were no text messages, emails. If you said something incriminating or wrote something incriminating, it had to be a letter that you'd have to put in the post office and put a stamp. Like, the digital age is just, I think that's why I'm kind of immune. So there were no digital cameras when I was in college to, catch stupid stuff. And I didn't have those dumb text messages when I was 20 years old. So I might be the last generation. Gen Xers might be the last generation kind of outside of that bubble. But the younger generations, they live on these chats and can say mighty offensive stuff. What was that political show, Deborah, with Kevin Spacey? What was that?
House of Cards?
House of Cards.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I'm remembering correctly the show. Like, they were talking about a would-be candidate, and the political advisor was like, all right, here's a piece of paper. Write down the worst things you've done in your life, and we will go make sure if these will come out and haunt you.
Right.
And now you got to add.
And a lot of times they say keep writing.
Yeah, exactly. Political analyst Stephen Lawson. Burt Jones, I just saw something in the AJC about the tax-free Georgia initiative.
Yeah. So obviously, Burt Jones, candidate for governor, I would say the front runner on the Republican side for governor, has signed this Grover Norquist no tax
How do I know that
pledge.
name? Why do I know Grover Norquist?
So he's obviously a very well-known economist.
Okay.
He's been in the political sphere, and he's got this pledge that a lot of candidates, sort of a rite of passage, sign pledging that they will not increase taxes under their watch. So Lieutenant Governor Jones, running for governor, has signed that pledge, which is a big deal. It is part and parcel of his campaign, right, that we've talked about, to eliminate the state income tax.
So this is separate from that. The Norquist pledge is different.
It is, but I think it's central to his campaign in talking about lowering the cost of living and talking about keeping taxes low and cutting taxes. So this is, look, and that's a potent message for him. We've talked about that, right? Working towards eliminating the state income tax, keeping taxes low. We've talked on the House side next session. There's going to be a big push, I believe, for property tax relief and cutting property taxes. So I think you're seeing these two different approaches to taxes next session. But it's very clear, Mark, we're seeing not just in this healthcare debate, but in economic jobs, cost of living continues to be the number one driver on people's minds. And I think you're going to see that both next legislative session, but out on the campaign trail in 2026 as well.
And I think this ties into a story, Stephen, we brought up briefly on Friday's show, the budget surplus, the excess surplus we have in the state of Georgia now, $14.6 billion, which is phenomenal, right? Georgia's economic engine is humming. It's doing well. But I would imagine politicians are looking at that budget like, well, why do we need to pay such high income tax, or why do we need to pay such high property tax when we are already gushing with funds? I would imagine that surplus might play into this political scheme as well.
Yeah, and look, that's such a great point, and it's such a dichotomy between how well our state is being run thanks to conservative leadership under Governor Kemp and in the General Assembly with the Lieutenant Governor and Speaker of the House, John Burns. But that's such that contrast between what is going on in Washington. Like, they can't even figure out how to solve anything, pass a budget, huge deficits. But yeah, that will be instrumental next session, Mark. You talked about the $14.6 billion surplus. The governor is going to be the ultimate decider. He gets to set what money will be recognized and able to be used. Certainly, we've lowered the state income tax over the past few years. I imagine there will be some acceleration on that next legislative session. But he may also use those funds for infrastructure projects or for other economic development or lots of different things where we can infuse that into the economy. But again, it's just such a stark contrast to how well this state is being run and how poorly things are going in Washington, D.C.
I'm glad you brought that up. Day 22, government shutdown. Is either side going to break on this? Or are we're just locked and loaded for who knows how long?
I think it's I think the rubber is going to start meeting the road. You guys have mentioned astutely the longer delays that we're starting to see at Hartsfield, where the TSA, I was there on Sunday, it was starting to get slower. You could see the TSA agents start to get a little more frustrated that they are going without a paycheck. And look, the thing there is like they are getting an IOU essentially from the federal government, but their mortgage doesn't get an IOU.
Yeah.
Their car payment doesn't get an IOU. So when you start to see that trickle-down effect on those frontline, military folks, TSA folks, that's going to start to put a lot of downward pressure on these legislators in Washington to act. I will be surprised if there is not some sort of resolution in sight in the next week. I think what they will probably ultimately do is off-ramp these subsidies for potentially for like 6 months to kick the can down the road and to provide some relief so that they can get the government back open. But the ultimate long-term question, Mark, is this healthcare debate. Obamacare, this Affordable Care Act, it's a disaster. It is in a death spiral. These subsidies are just propping up a problem that is continuing to brew and a massive, massive deficit that is continuing to grow. Republicans need to come with some sort of solution,
a new plan,
an alternative, and a new plan to healthcare in this country.
2 weeks. 2 weeks away. We'll tell you about the new plan. You were off sick last week, so I've been sitting this in my pocket. I got a hypothesis. I floated it past Erickson. Governor Kemp continuing his overseas tour, the international business ties. Is there any scenario, political analyst Stephen Lawson, that the next Secretary of State of the United States could be Governor Brian Kemp? Is he building up Secretary of State bona fides, perhaps?
Well, that's going to require Marco Rubio to get rid of one of his 5 job titles. So,
he might run on a Rubio Vance ticket, perhaps, if that's successful.
Look, anything is. Look, I think the sky's the limit for Brian Kemp. I mean, I think he's going to have a lot of options. I think, certainly he is all behind Derek Dooley. I think that's probably front and center on his mind right now. But yeah, looking ahead to 2028, I think if he plays his cards right, the sky is the limit, and he could be a cabinet secretary. He could decide that he wants to run for Senate here in 2028. He could decide he wants to run for president. He could decide he wants to go in the private sector and make some money.
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. So if that happens, you heard it here first from Mark Arum on the Mark Arum Show.
There you go. Listen, he's got all these international contacts now, and obviously running a successful economic state. I don't know. I thought it was a thing. Relatedly, have you watched The Diplomat yet?
I have not.
Oh,
it's
my
on my
God.
list.
That's your homework tonight.
I'm on it.
Season 3 just dropped. I want you to binge watch till next week. We can discuss.
It's my homework.
The Diplomat. Political analyst Stephen Lawson. All things online at Dentons.com. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's check the Wednesday morning ride. This beautiful Wednesday morning. Let's go and check things out with the incomparable Ashley Frasca.
Thank you, Mark. It is pretty nice. Not through Lawrenceville, though. Getting between Decula and Lawrenceville. Road work in the right lane again. Highway 316 westbound before High Hope. And also as you travel through Emerson toward Cartersville, it looks like construction crews are set up 75 north around Red Top Mountain Road. And heads up for a crash near the ballpark. Cobb Parkway at Galleria Drive, just south of 285. Traffic brought to you by Staples. Have you heard the Staples Easy button is back with even more easy? Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic hits.
I-75 completely shut down north and south between McDonough and Locust Grove.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Brake lights fill in on 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Heavy police fire department activity.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Temps in the 40 yesterday. When I woke up, it was chilly. When it's chilly outside, you put on a hat, right? Keep the warm in your body. But when you get to the office, you got to take the hat off. Are you worried about exposing your receding hairline, your bald spots, your thinning hair? If that is a concern for you, and it might not, I want you to check out my friends at Advanced Hair. They combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. Quick, simple one-day treatment, and your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, and it's even guaranteed to grow for life. If you want your hair back, now's the time, and Advanced Hair is the place. Takes just one visit, guys, but first you need a free consultation. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com, and if you move forward, you'll get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow, advancedhair.com.
Motorcycle riders know that a distracted driver can knock you down. It's nice to know that Steel Horse Law can pick you back up. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. In the worst possible scenario, when someone causes you to lay your bike down, Steel Horse Law will get you the best possible settlement. Their name strikes fear in the heart of big insurance companies because Steel Horse Law is respected and will make them pay. Visit steelhorselaw.com.
At SouthernLink, we know wireless connectivity keeps business moving. Whether you're overseeing assets in real time or monitoring crew activities, our Critical Link LTE network can keep your business applications accessible as you travel. Call 1-800-818-LINC or visit southernlink.com to learn more about our mobile data solutions, LTE voice and data services, mission critical push-to-talk, and interworking solutions. SouthernLink, pushing the limits of what's possible.
Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Looking for a new truck and looking for a great deal? Of course you are. Well, I have a great deal on the Tundra for you, and the only place you're going to find it, the only place you're going to hear about it is right here. Go to beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals and save money on your new Toyota Tundra. It's that easy. beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming is the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on select varieties of Kroger brand cheese. 6 to 8 ounce packs are only $1.79 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty. That's right. Fix them once and you're covered for life. Don't risk your family's safety or your peace of mind. Let A1 replace your springs before they become a problem. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one.
A1 from day one.
Scratching, scampering, and scurry noises in your attic? You've got squirrels. Hey, it's Mark Aram here. Better get Breda Pest Management to kick them out before those squirrely scoundrels start running an Airbnb in your attic. Those squirrels not leaving without a fight. They'll keep coming back, chewing new holes over and over again. Under the Breda Wildlife Guarantee, you stay protected and at no additional cost.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Hey, if you're bringing some friends over to tailgate this fall or cook out or having the family for Thanksgiving later, do what I've just done and call Wise Guys Pro Wash. They've gotten my house and driveway, my patio spotless, even the wooden gates out back. They even cleaned the roof, and I didn't even have to be there. The crew used the top equipment in the industry in their soft wash and kept my home safe and damage-free. You call them. First-time customers mention my name, Chris Chandler, and book now to get $70 off your first wash at wiseguysprowash.com.
Remember, this song's a throwback. Shaggy, it wasn't me. Shaggy turns 57 years old today. When this song came out, Longoria, I was like, Eddie Murphy's going to sue this guy, whoever this guy is. Because it's a blatant ripoff of the Eddie Murphy great stand-up where he gets caught cheating. He goes, wouldn't me.
Oh, yeah,
and then
that's
she
right.
goes, all right, maybe it wasn't you.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically Shaggy made a song about the Eddie Murphy bit.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, happy birthday, Shaggy. Turned 57. I don't think that he was ever sued by Eddie Murphy. Tomorrow on the show, Eddie Murphy. No, I'm just, wouldn't that be great? I'd lose my mind. I can tell you what's coming up, though, after news, weather, and traffic. Scott Slade's going to join us with an amazing story. Scott is going to talk with an Atlanta scientist just awarded a federal grant to study what causes cancer. Groundbreaking stuff. So Scott Slade's going to join us live with that after news, weather, and traffic. Still to come, we're going to London. Sad news. Looks like no summit between Putin and Trump in Hungary. We'll check in with Patrick Reveal from ABC in London. And, of course, hammering our top local stories. Social media is up and active at Mark Aram and at WSB Radio.
Two similar homes for sale, same neighborhood, but the one with the Orchard sign sold for more. Why? Well, Orchard's local agents know what buyers want, make smart upgrades, and handle it all. Get your free home valuation at Orchard.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Hurricane season is here, friends, and now's the time to make sure your roof is ready for whatever comes next. Hey, it's Mark Arum back with you. At Dr. Roof, they're experts at hurricane proofing your home. From inspecting shingles to reinforcing your roof structure, they make sure your home is secure before the storm hits. Don't wait until it's too late. Get a free, no-obligation roof inspection from Dr. Roof today. Get ready before the hurricane season goes into overdrive. Call Dr. Roof today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Let's start with this, your money.
Right now, everything is expensive. I don't need my insurance to also be a thorn in my side.
Well, it may be. Healthcare costs rising faster than the rate of inflation. Michael Wallace has details.
The nonprofit KFF surveyed 1,800 employers and found the cost of their family health insurance plans rose 6% this year to $27,000. Insurers blame rising rates of illnesses like cancer in the working age population. More employers are passing the burden on to their employees in the form of higher deductibles and co-payments.
And while we're talking about that, the Senate will attempt to vote for a 12th time today to end the partial shutdown of the federal government. The shutdown now in day 22, which makes it the second longest in U.S. history. Senate Democrats refusing to vote for a House funding resolution unless it extends health insurance subsidies used over by 20 million people. Democrats have demanded a meeting with President Trump to resolve the issue. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson saying that Trump will meet with the Democrats as soon as Senator Chuck Schumer reopens the government. All right, your weather for today, mostly sunny, breezy, and it's going to be staying on the cool side. Afternoon highs only in the upper 60s, lower 70s, and a little bit windy. Afternoon winds around 20 to 25 miles an hour at times, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Now your drive. We told you about it this morning. A hole in the bridge over Meadowbrook Lane in Clayton County along I-75. It shut down the interstate for a while. Crews were able to reopen 3 of the 5 lanes around 7:30 this morning. GDOT's Natalie Dell telling us what happened.
Some material of the bridge fell from below the bridge. We need to get in there and fill what would be considered a pothole, likely on a roadway, but since this is on a bridge, it's different.
And she says that inspectors will determine if more extensive work is needed. If so, then that will be scheduled, she says, during non-peak hours. A new study sheds light on just how alcohol impacts your blood pressure. And a new study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology finds that when you cut back or stop drinking alcohol altogether, your blood pressure can go down in a big way. The findings show that even slight changes in alcohol consumption, particularly among women, can improve blood pressure and heart health. The bottom line here, when it comes to your blood pressure, the less you drink, the better. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 120 at 46,804. NASDAQ also down. It's down more than 0.5%, and the S&P is also in negative territory. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Tractor trailer trouble moved to the shoulder, 85 south at Pleasant Hill. A tap of the brakes there. Highway 316 westbound. You're still dealing with some delays as construction barrels are out again in the right lane around High Hope. And crash clearing from the intersection near Truist Park off Cobb Parkway at Galleria Drive. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny, breezy, and cool today with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour, pulling in that cooler, drier air. Lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday with highs in the mid-70s.
All right, let's check some temperatures around the area. In Duluth, it is 58 degrees. Tucker has some sunshine, 59. Down in Peachtree City, it is 60 degrees under sunny skies. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Eric Erickson.
Informative and topical when you want it.
And he's involved in keeping Chinese communist students at American University.
And a break when you need it.
I forgot to leave food out for the cat. Can you go check on the cat?
Eric Erickson.
By belittling other people, you show your tribal loyalty.
Today, starting at noon, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
What it could allow is an alliance structure in the Middle East that perseveres.
Vice President J.D. Vance in Jerusalem. Still to come on the show, the latest on the Israel-Hamas situation, the Russia-Ukraine war. But next, Scott Slade joins us live in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
This is Scott Slade. I had a chance to catch up with my friends at Myland recently, and they were telling me how busy they've been helping homeowners access the equity in their homes. Over the last few weeks, rates have dropped, and people are jumping on the opportunity to refinance and open home equity lines to do long overdue projects or consolidate high-interest debts. Even if another lender is told you they can't help, it's worth it to call my friends at Myland. They have so many different loan programs, low rates, and highly trained experts waiting to help you. It wouldn't make sense to call anyone else. I trust Myland with all my home loans, and you should too. I can't tell you how many testimonials and success stories I've heard from these guys and gals over the years. Do yourself a favor, give them a call. 770-817-2000. 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com, spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Residential Mortgage License C148769. Myland's located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
More and more these days, people are in pain, are taking control of their health and looking beyond the traditional medicine. Hey, it's Mark here. That's why QC Kinetics is so successful. People with chronic joint pain are learning that there are other options besides steroids, meds, and surgery. Patients fighting pain are getting lasting relief using advanced cellular treatments. It's QC Kinetics regenerative medicine that can revitalize your joints using growth factors from your own body. And check it out, guys. It's a simple injection. No hospital stay. It's fast, all natural, and no downtime. I want you to call QC Kinetics and get a free consultation. Exercise your freedom to look beyond the same old solutions. Thousands of patients around the country finding a better life with QC Kinetics and their amazing regenerative treatments. Call now to get started. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. Appointments available on Saturdays. Lawrenceville, Sandy Springs, Marietta, Stockbridge, Decatur, and Douglasville.
If your floors feel bouncy and uneven, it's time for AquaGuard Foundation Solutions Crawl Space Experts. Simply go to aquaguard.net and set up an appointment. It's fast and it's easy, and your floors will appreciate you. AquaGuard, the trusted local experts. Remember, AquaGuard.
I call upon Chairman Khrushchev to halt and eliminate this clandestine, reckless, and provocative threat to world peace.
63 years ago today on WSB Radio, President Kennedy went on the air to announce the American air and naval forces would blockade Cuba following the discovery 6 days earlier of Soviet missile bases there. From this address, the public learned of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Kennedy there making an appeal to his Soviet counterpart, October 22nd, 1962. Scott Slade, you were still in short pants then. Do you have any recollection of the Cuban Missile Crisis?
I do. We were scared to death. You know, I would have been in elementary school back then, and we were watching it unfold on TV. And it wasn't so much that we understood everything that was going on, but we certainly understood how it was affecting our parents. You know, they were wringing their hands, and they were genuinely concerned.
Was that the start of the duck and cover drills?
Oh, well, I think that had been going on for a while, but that
Yeah.
certainly accelerated it. And I don't remember the duck and cover. I don't think we ever did that at Third Ward Elementary School in Griffin. Somebody said, this really isn't going to help.
Yeah,
So-
we didn't have them when I was in elementary school, but my elementary school was built in the 40s, and it didn't occur to me as a second grader, but I was like, why are there so many big yellow signs that say fallout shelter? Like, we had fallout shelters at our elementary school.
Yeah, that's something. I think we did too, come to think of it, those yellow and black placards.
Yes, exactly right.
I
Exactly
remember
right.
that.
Anyway, that was a tense moment in history here in the Cold War. Scott, we're not talking Cold War. We're talking about finding out what causes cancer. Obviously, a story near and dear to your heart, my friend.
It is, and it's a battle. And at an American Cancer Society event over the weekend, Mark, I had a chance to sit down with Dr. Joanna Wardwell Osgo. She's an assistant professor of cellular molecular biology at Kennesaw State University. And not only is she breaking new ground in the study of what causes cancer, almost as remarkable as she secured a $720,000 federal grant for the National Institutes of Health in what is quaintly now called a challenging landscape of the federal grant business these days. And this speaks to the value of her work. You ready to get into the weeds on this?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Where do you start on something like this, Dr. Osgo?
I became fascinated with hormones a couple of years ago. And the thing about hormones is we know that they're really important for our bodies. We know that without hormones, we don't develop. We know that cancers rely on hormones. We know a lot about hormones kind of from observing humans. But really, when we ask the details about, well, what is hormone doing in our body? We don't really know. And the thing that got me really fascinated is when I think about puberty, for instance, some cells in the brain begins to rewire. The bones begin to lengthen. the muscle begins to define itself, the fat begins to burn away. And all of these changes are caused by the same thing, a simple little hormone, but in each tissue, the tissue responds differently. And so I was thinking about that work and also thinking about my fascination with cancer and cancer biology, which is something that I have been really thinking about for my entire scientific career. And we know that when hormone-driven cancers are treated, very often they go away. The patients enter remission, but that does come with some side effects of, entering menopause early maybe, or chemical castration, things that aren't really ideal for the patient, but your cancer is gone. If those cancers come back and they reoccur, those cancers are more aggressive and they're almost always deadly, because there's more to hormones and hormone biology than just that simple little estrogen or testosterone that's floating around in your body. There are lots of other things that are going on that we don't fully understand because we don't really understand the details of hormones. So this work was kind of brought up and worked on initially when I was a postdoc at Emory, and I had an American Cancer Society grant to study tissue growth. Why do tissues grow? Why do cells grow? And hormones kind of entered the picture, and it got really fun and really interesting, and that's what I'm working on now.
That's the National Institutes of Health grant. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is not unlike working backward to determine the cause of cancer, isn't it?
It is. I do really kind of think about it as working backward. We have this understanding of cancers and mutations and things that go wrong in hormone-driven cancers, and we still don't understand the why. And so we have to take a couple of steps back to really ask the basic question of what is going on here, so that we can then try to understand what is happening actually in patients.
How will this apply to future treatments, perhaps, if you can really start getting to the nitty-gritty of all this?
I think it really comes into play by developing better therapies that would be given in concert with tamoxifen or other hormone blocking agents, so that when hormones are taken away, that cell isn't able to figure out a way to survive without that hormone. So if we can provide some other type of targeted therapy that those cancers have the chance to kind of rely on instead of the hormone, we can improve patient outcome and survivalship by kind of understanding better, okay, the cell doesn't have hormone anymore, now what? Well, let's find a better therapy.
And this is happening at Kennesaw State University, Mark. I mean, this is just amazing to me.
What Scott, what was the size of the grant? I was taking notes, but I missed the amount of the grant.
$720,000.
Okay.
Now, in medical research, the grant business there, you might say, well, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
But this is how things are done. I mean, you whittle away at this a little bit at a time. I mean, in the battle of cancer, the science is hard. And it can also be very difficult to restart when things like funding delays slow things down. So the fact that she's focusing in on just how hormones work, that helps guide the treatment toward a cancer cell to fool it, basically to say, yeah, okay, I'll go eat that, and because it thinks it's getting a hormone, and it's not really, it's getting something that'll kill it. So
outside the box thinking, really.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Like I said, backwards, backing in to a potential explanation for the cause of cancer. And in my cancer, they still don't know what causes it. They have no idea. They've got a better idea how to treat it. And I think this is just fascinating, from the front lines of the battle against cancer. And one more thing here. You got another minute?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What motivates Dr. Wardwell Osgo to dig in every day? Well, like a lot of things, Mark, it's personal. It's personal to do this kind of hard work.
I lost my grandpa when I was 8 to pancreatic cancer, and I began my fight to cure cancer at the age of 8. And along the way, I met mentors who were funded by the American Cancer Society themselves, ironically, and they died from the disease that they studied. So my undergraduate mentor and my graduate school mentor both passed away from rare forms of cancer. They're really who I carry with me. They really are who motivate me and who inspire me to work when science gets hard and the landscape looks bleak. I remember their work, and I remember that I am part of their legacy. You know, scientists, they all have these kind of connections. They always have a why. We like asking questions, and we usually ask a question because something happened to us. And that's my why. And so I remain committed to asking strange questions about cancer in strange ways until hopefully I retire.
Dr. Joanna Wardwell-Osgo on the front lines of the battle against cancer.
Phenomenal scientist, phenomenal person. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Couple of quick follow-ups, Scott. The funding secured. I know, obviously, government shutdown. We're seeing big cuts HHS-wise. Is this a one-time grant? Is the money in the bank, so to speak, already?
As I understand it, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. So she can move forward with the work. And she told me it took about a year and a half to get that grant secured. So these things don't happen quickly. But I guess, when you're looking at turning a battleship, you do it a little at a time, right? And that's what they were able to do here.
Yeah, I mean, I love the outside-the-box thinking, which leads to my last follow-up. We've been talking so much about AI and quantum computing. Do you think there is a world in which AI can help scientists like her try to get to the cause of cancer?
Well, here's the thing, and I asked her that question. She said AI, she sees, is highly beneficial once you get to the human nitty-gritty hard work of determining the hormonal influence on cancer. And she sees AI as highly beneficial when it's time to develop new drugs, once the research points the way.
Fascinating stuff. That was awesome, Scott. Thank you so much for sharing that. And $720,000. It's a lot of money to you and I, but in as far as cancer research is concerned, that's just a drop in the bucket. So hopefully we continue to fund that amazing effort by her.
I'm going to stay in touch with her.
Yeah, please do.
I think it's amazing. It really is. And as always, my friend, thank you so much for the time today.
My pleasure. Scott Slade, always a pleasure. We'll hear you tomorrow on Atlanta's Morning News.
Yeah. Scott Slade, Georgia. Oh, you like these AI stories, how AI benefits Georgia farm businesses. It's amazing.
Interesting. I'll be listening. Scott, always a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, Mark. Have a great day.
You as well. All right. When we come back, a mea culpa, a correction on what I was talking about yesterday about that East Wing demolition at the White House in order to build the ballroom. I will correct myself after we give you the correct traffic information on this Wednesday morning, live with the latest. Ashley Frasca.
You find it here 24/7 right now, watching the slow ride through a couple of work zones on Highway 316 westbound, barrels out in the right lane around High Hope Road. So some delays coming over from Winder Highway out of Decula. Also sluggish getting up to Cartersville. Crews are on the left shoulder 75 north at Red Top Mountain Road, and still staying slow downtown on the connector. New trouble 75-85 northbound right at I-20. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Chris Chandler. Thursday at 5 on Atlanta's Morning News, an early look at the weekend forecast for you. Clark Howard on why, yes, we're all going to have to learn to work with AI. And Scott Slade's Georgia this week, AI on a Georgia farm on WSB.
Hi, I'm Deborah Morton, host of Inside Georgia Real Estate, right here on 95.5 WSB. Each Saturday, my show covers Atlanta's housing market and all things real estate. Reach out to me for trustworthy residential real estate advice. My team and I at The Agency Atlanta have something amazing for you. The Agency Atlanta's Home Report Card, a free, customized analysis on your home, a secret weapon to get more when the time comes to sell. Know your home's strengths and weaknesses, how your home stacks up against your competition, and when you are most likely to get top dollar. You'll know how to bring your grade up to an A+ and net more money when it's time to move. So if selling your home has even crossed your mind, let me send you the Agency Atlanta's free home report card. This is invaluable information and it's free. Go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com today to connect with us at the Agency Atlanta. That's InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
When you come home after being away, you see your home with fresh eyes. And eventually, you'll roll up to your old garage door and finally notice how chipped and faded that rusty old slab really is. But that's the first thing people see when they come visit. A 250-square-foot bent aluminum lime green garage door that also squeaks. Welcome to our home. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our design consultants can help you find a strong, quiet, modern garage door that anyone would be proud to come home to. Modern materials that won't crack, dent, or fade. In contemporary styles that showcase your home's design. Call Mo Better Garage and let us show you just how joyful arriving back home can be.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Annuities, not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to Medi-Share, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they're paying for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up and the cost of healthcare, Medi-Share has a special offer, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Just apply by October 31st, and they'll waive your new member fee. You're saving $100 right off the bat. That's just the start. Obviously, the typical family saves up to $500 a month after making the switch. And Medi-Share is a Christian community that shared more than $9 billion in medical bills over the years. It's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second. If you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings too. Here it is. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
10:53 on the Mark Arum Show, continuing coverage of the government shutdown, day 22. Also want to update the Russia-Ukraine situation. Coming up next hour, we'll go to London for the latest on what is not going to be a summit now between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Speaking of President Trump, I have to issue an apology. Yesterday, Deborah, I voiced my displeasure with the demolition of the East Wing of the White House. Again, if any president was doing this, I would have said the same thing, whether it was Republican or Democrat. And I was worried about the legality of it because it's a national landmark, the White House, according to the 1960 Act. In my research, I did not see that the White House, for some reason, is exempt from protection of keeping the structural integrity. And a lot of folks were curious about this story. You did a great job updating this. So the White House renovation's nothing new. But this is a huge renovation, though, the ballroom being added to the East Wing. And again, I don't feel right that the East Wing, which was built in 1942, by the way, which means it predates the National Historic Act. So that East Wing, while not original to the White House, is still part of the National Historic Registry. You went down notable White House renovations over the years, Deborah. How far back are we going here?
So, I mean, this goes back to right when it opens in 1800. That was like the first official time that the White House was completed. You can actually live in it. Yeah, before that. So the first big renovation it went was in 1817, and that's because somebody set fire to it during the War of 1812.
Yeah, the British, right? The British burned it down.
Well, I mean, we technically were all British, so yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Anyway. No, at that point we were separate.
Yeah, but you still had anyway.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
So it was burnt down. So it was rebuilt in 1817.
So they had to rebuild the whole thing. That was the first major renovation that it ever went to. And then in, I guess, 1900 is when it really started to. They started to add things like the Oval Office and where's that? Yeah, the Oval Office and the West Wing, which is kind of what we think of when we think of the White House, right?
So the West Wing wasn't in the original plans. No. 1902. The West Wing was added.
Along with the Oval Office.
The famous West Wing and the Oval Office. 48 to 52, there was a massive internal renovation. I guess updating the plumbing.
So they
actually
they actually wanted to add like a bunker because of World War. You just talked about like fallout shelters. You had bombs going off in World War II. So during that administration, they added these extra shelters for people to go in case they needed it, because obviously the White House has always been a target.
Now there's that command center like deep below the White House. Any other big renovations in our lifetime?
Those are the big ones. After that, it's a little bit smaller. Like Jackie Kennedy is the one that really kind of helped modernize the design. Before that, it was all just very like, here's some rooms. That's what I mean. She's the one that kind of like said, let's bring furniture and let's bring curtains and design these papers and really placing art places. And she's the one that also expanded the Rose Garden. And then Clinton era, they said they expanded a butler's pantry for kitchen meals. And then Obama added a tennis court and a basketball court.
Yeah, and Nixon had a bowling alley. I think he put it in there at some point.
Yeah, the bowling alley was in there as well.
So, again, my apologies. I researched the heck out of it, the National Landmark Act of 1960. I did not see in my research that the White House was exempt. Again, I have no problem constructing a ballroom, much like I had no problem them adding a West Wing, et cetera, et cetera. But I hated that it's damaging that East Wing that was put up in 1942, which would have been FDR, right? FDR in 42. So I just wanted clarification. I apologize. I did not find that in my research. I don't know why the White House is immune from the National Landmark Act. I think it's the people's house. It should be preserved as much as possible. Now, putting on additions, that's another thing, but I didn't like the destruction that. And I would say that for if anyone was in Oval Office and they tore down a part of the historic people's house. But I just want to, when I make a mistake, I own up to it, and I apologize for that yesterday. All right, when we come back, we're going to update our top local stories, going to London, England, get the very latest on the now defunct summit that was set to happen between President Trump and President Vladimir Putin, and day 22 of the government shutdown. See if it's causing any delays down at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Social media is up throughout the broadcast at Mark Airman at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Do you have any idea how often I have used Omaha Steaks products on my front porch for my friends and family? You know, I have guys over on Sunday nights. We watch football, drink some bourbon, have cigars, and I cook. And very often it's a steak platter, and I get it from Omaha Steaks. I make some bread, usually focaccia, and then I'll get the New York strips from Omaha Steaks, maybe some sausages as well, and throw them on the grill and just mix it with the bread. And it's easy to do, and Omaha Steaks makes it so easy. And you can do it too. And right now, get $35 off at Omaha Steaks with promo code ERIC at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. You go to omahasteaks.com. And they're the official sponsor of tailgating right now. It's the perfect time of year to watch football and grill out from Omaha Steaks. I do it. You can too. You go to omahasteaks.com right now. Get $35 off with promo code ERIC, ERICK, at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com.
As you go through your end-of-season to-dos, add Call Castile Cooling and Heating to the checklist. You wouldn't send your kids to school unprepared, so don't send your air conditioner into hibernation without a checkup from our specialists. If you've noticed your system struggling, weird sounds, smells, or changes in airflow, let's fix it now. Right now, install a new HVAC system and get up to $2,000 in free upgrades and 0% interest financing. Book today, and help is on the way. CastileAir.com.
Linda Beaver here. Summer may be over, but the deals are just heating up. Time to get to Beaver Toyota of Cumming because your car is here, your price is right, and it's time to drive. Low monthly payments, top dollar for your trade, 600 plus cars to choose from. We really do have a deal for everyone. And only here you get Beaver benefits with perks like lifetime powertrain warranty, lifetime oil changes, complimentary car washes, and loaners whenever you need them. Your deal's waiting, your car's ready. Visit BeaverToyotaCumming.com. Don't wait another minute.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This just in, we have new information on a deadly pedestrian accident we were telling you about Tuesday afternoon. It was on Claremont Road and Dresden Drive. A woman hit and killed in a crosswalk. This morning, Brookhaven police just now releasing the name of the driver of that dump truck that hit her. He's been identified as 54-year-old Omar Ali of Mapleton. Police say he left the scene after hitting the woman, but then returned about 20 minutes later. This morning, he's facing several charges, including vehicular homicide and felony hit and run. Your weather for today, sunny, breezy, staying cool. Afternoon highs in the upper 60s or lower 70s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Repairs are underway right now on a bridge on I-75 south of Atlanta after a hole led to an hours-long shutdown.
The hole's in a bridge over Meadowbrook Lane in Clayton County. The Georgia DOT's Natalie Dale compares it to a major pothole, but says since it's on a bridge, it has a much different impact.
We have to get in there and refill that bridge joint, seal up that bridge joint until we can get in and make a more substantive repair.
She says those additional repairs will likely happen soon.
It is likely that we will have to come back and do some work at a later time today or throughout the week.
Officials haven't said what caused the hole to form. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, this just in, and it's for folks who live in northern Fulton County. If you've noticed a change in the smell and taste of drinking water there recently, a statement from the Public Works Department says it's due to an annual turnover in Lake Lanier Chattahoochee River system. They say it is a natural, seasonal process. Higher than usual levels of two different compounds in the water are causing some to experience an earthy or musty smell and taste. They do not pose any risk to human health, and the statement reiterates that the county's water meets or exceeds all state and federal standards. Governor Kemp in South Korea later this week as part of an international economic development mission.
Kemp's trip to South Korea was planned before federal agents raided the Hyundai battery plant in South Georgia. 6 weeks ago, ICE took hundreds of people, mostly South Korean nationals, into custody before releasing them a week later without charges. Kemp's office says the time in Korea will focus on reinforcing strategic partnerships to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Georgia Trade Office in Seoul. It marks Kemp's third visit to Korea as governor. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
The government shutdown now and day number 22. Ryan Noble's reporting this morning that there has been little progress towards ending what has become the second longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
President Trump showing no sign that he's in search of a deal. Hosting Senate Republicans at the White House. Trump encouraging them not to back down, suggesting he would consider meeting with Democratic leaders only after the shutdown ends.
Now, Senate Democrats are refusing to vote for a House funding resolution unless it extends health insurance subsidies for more than 20 million people. The Senate will attempt to vote for a 12th time today to end the partial government shutdown. If, in the meantime, the acting administrator of SNAP says that the food assistance program could run out of money by the end of the month if this shutdown drags on. And what you pay for health insurance is rising faster than your paycheck, and it is going to get worse, it seems. According to a new survey by the nonprofit KFF, it finds the average cost for a family health insurance plan offered through the workplace was nearly $27,000 this year. That's an increase of 6% from a year ago. By comparison, workers' wages grew 4%, and inflation is up 2.7% from a year ago. Insurers are blaming rising rates of illnesses like cancer. And more employers, as you might imagine, are passing the burden onto workers with higher deductibles and co-payments. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us from the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good Wednesday morning.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now, not too terrible out on the roadways. We are watching that construction out of Decula into Lawrenceville, 316 westbound around High Hope Road. That is blocking a right lane, so you're seeing some delays there as you leave Highway 29. Elsewhere on I-75 northbound up in the Cartersville area, heading out of Emerson towards Cartersville, you got construction up at Red Top Mountain Road. That's causing a tap of the brakes. And downtown, just sluggish, 75-85 southbound from 17th Street as you make your way past Georgia Tech. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy, and staying cool today. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Clear and cool for tonight. Lows in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday, high 74.
It is 59 degrees right now in Sandy Springs. Conyers has 62, and so does Riverdale. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I'll run this town to be near you.
11:05 on a no surprise, very busy news day Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Airman crew with you till noon. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to London to get the latest on the Russia-Ukraine war. Deborah's got a pair of tickets to give away before the end of the broadcast. And in case you're just joining us, so you're just getting out of a coma, it's day 22 of the government shutdown. Democrats, Republicans no closer to reaching a deal that would reopen things. Majority of Democrats holding steady on their position to talk about extending health care tax credits before reopening the government. But Republicans aren't making any moves either and say they won't talk until the government's reopened. Jay Bryan from ABC in D.C.
What we heard from Democratic leaders yesterday is that they demanded a White House meeting with President Trump to try to negotiate this. And President Trump came out later before cameras and said that he would be happy to meet with them, but only after the government reopened, essentially saying he would meet with Democrats, but only after they caved. And so neither side has really moved from that position.
If we have any updates on that situation, of course, you'll hear them here first throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. Not sure if you're aware of this, friends, but this is National Down Syndrome Awareness Month this October. Joining us live on the Mark Arum Show, CEO of the Down Syndrome Society, it's Candy Pickard. Candy, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Tell us all about National Down Syndrome Awareness and what your society is hoping to achieve this month.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And for us, it is a celebration about the beauty of Down syndrome and just making sure that all communities know about Down syndrome and just understand the abilities of people with Down syndrome.
I was blessed. The high school that I went to in Connecticut served as like a magnet school for folks with Downs from all over the state of Connecticut, and they were fully integrated into the student population. It was a wonderful program that I will always treasure for the rest of my life. But that was back in the late 80s, early 90s. Life expectancy for those with Downs is increasing, which is amazing news.
It is. I mean, as you mentioned, right, in the 80s, I mean, you were looking at a much different life expectancy than you are now. I mean, folks with Down syndrome are living into their 60s and even into their 70s, which is fantastic. But with that brings, you know, new nuances with their medical care and also with just their independent living.
What's the general perception? Obviously, life expectancy increasing, but public awareness and understanding of exactly what Down syndrome is and how it impacts the lives of those who not only have it, but the families of those who have it.
Absolutely. We've come so far. I think that, as you mentioned, just about, you know, inclusive education, and now we have, you know, people working in their communities and jobs in corporate America or Main Street, and all of this mainstream has really helped extend the life, you know, of an individual with Down syndrome. And I think we've got new medical advances. And I think that what now we are advocating for more and more year after year is just that a person with Down syndrome has the ability to make the decisions on what they want their life to be and to live their dreams. And that's the exciting part about it. As a mom, I have a 13-year-old son with Down syndrome, and people always ask me what Mason wants to do when he grows up. And I'm like, ask Mason what he wants to do when he grows up. You know, it's important to us.
What does Mason want to do? Don't leave us hanging. What does he want to do when he grows up?
Oh, Mark, you know, it changes day to day. Right now, I think he wants to be a police officer.
Nice. Excellent. Candy, What does the community need? I would imagine with longer life expectancy, healthcare is first and foremost for folks.
It is. It's a great question. We actually did a survey asking members of our community and professionals within our community as well of what are the needs that our community has, and healthcare was the top priority that came out of that survey. I think what we're realizing is that majority of our families have limited access to specialty care clinics that truly understand the unique needs of somebody with Down syndrome and their healthcare journey. So for us, we really wanted to take that very seriously as an organization and look at how do we help better inform healthcare providers on how to care for somebody with Down syndrome.
Candy, if the listeners want to know more about the National Down Syndrome Society, how they can help, website, social media, where can we find you?
Absolutely. I think you can learn more at ndss.org and specifically about our Care Down Syndrome initiative at careds.org.
Careds.org. Candy Pickard, CEO of the National Down Syndrome Society on Down Syndrome Awareness Month. Candy, thanks so much for your time. Great work.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, very. I didn't know, Deborah, that that was, I swear, looking back on it now, it was just normal in high school that we had so many kids with Down syndrome, and they were part of, our football team manager had Down syndrome, and he would lead us on our cheer. They were integrated into our school, and it was nothing, out of the ordinary, abnormal. That was a really good program. I hope that's still going on at my high school. All right, updating Russia-Ukraine war. Joining us from London, ABC News, Patrick Revel. Patrick, bad news yesterday. We learned from the White House that the Putin-Trump summit is off. Why is it not going to happen?
No, as you say, Mark, not good. The summit that had been hoped to be planned between President Trump and Vladimir Putin is now off. It has evaporated really almost as quickly as it came. We heard just last week that President Trump hoped to meet with Vladimir Putin in Budapest in Hungary, and he hinted and suggested that this meant we were moving closer to an end in the war, finding a negotiated end to the war. But now both sides say that there is no plans to meet in the immediate future. And while it is surprising that it came and went so quickly, I think the underlying factors, when reporters who've been following this closely look at it, not that surprising, because simply when we heard that this summit was planned, we wondered, did that mean, has Vladimir Putin said something to President Trump that suggested he was now willing to make concessions? Something had changed since the summit in Alaska. But in the days since, we found that no, President Putin again has repeated the same hard-line demands that he's always had, really, and repeated the same ones that he repeated in Alaska, and that ultimately, as we know, led to no progress there. He is still demanding that Ukraine hand over all of the eastern Donbass region. This, we know, is a non-starter for both Kyiv and also European countries that understand that if Ukraine were to do that, it sees it as suicidal because it contains a belt of cities that are part of its front line, and that if they were to be handed over without a fight to Russia, would give the Kremlin the ability to renew the war at a later date far more easily. And so the Ukrainian position remains ceasefire first and then talks. That was also President Trump's position. He said that the sides should just freeze the conflict front lines, which is a good starting point. But Vladimir Putin and his foreign minister yesterday have made clear that they will not accept that. They will only accept what is effectively a capitulation from Ukraine. And so for now, that means we remain where we were, which is with hopes for a ceasefire and an end to this war at the moment seeming very distant.
Yeah, last week, Patrick, President Trump floated the possibility that Russia would be able to retain acquired lands in this long war. And I know that's a non-starter for the Ukrainians. But, I mean, the fact that we had this summit planned for Budapest, was there a specific reason given by either side why the summit has been called off?
Both sides, well, basically, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, spoke with his Russian counterpart, who they were supposed, our understanding was to discuss preparations for this summit. But the White House said they had a productive call, but now they had no need for the two officials to meet, and then that the summit was off. And I think that's because ultimately both sides know that it would be no different from Alaska, that ultimately Vladimir Putin will be making the same demands. Those demands are unacceptable to Ukraine. Ukraine considers them suicidal, and so would keep fighting rather than accept that, even under extreme pressure from President Trump. We understand there has been reports that President Trump had a very contentious meeting meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky and basically tried to pressure him to accept Russia's demand to give up the Donbass. President Trump has denied that publicly, but in any case, what we've seen is really that there is no movement from the Russians. And I think what is worth noting as well is that Volodymyr Zelensky flew to Washington hoping he was going to receive Tomahawk cruise missiles, which would be a dramatic step up in military capabilities. It's something the Biden administration never wanted to give Ukraine, believing it was too escalatory. And President Trump had strongly hinted he was considering doing it because he clearly believed it was a way to put pressure on the Kremlin to negotiate in good faith. But President Putin called Donald Trump just before that meeting, and after that, Volodymyr Zelensky walked away empty-handed once again with no missiles because supposedly it wasn't a good idea to give them with this summit coming up. But now that summit has evaporated, it raises the question, what exactly did President Trump achieve in that phone call with Vladimir Putin? He said, I remember President Trump said, it was asked, and he said, was he concerned about being played by Vladimir Putin? He said it was possible he was. I think now we will see, does he swing back again to trying to put more pressure on Russia? Does he start threatening to hand over Tomahawks again to Zelensky? But in any case, for now, it's been a good week for Vladimir Putin. I think we should say overnight, just hours after plans for this summit fell apart, we've seen a very heavy Russian attack on Ukraine, a very heavy aerial attack, drones and missiles striking Kyiv. At least 6 people have been killed, including children, and a terrible attack in the eastern city of Kharkiv, where Russian drones have directly hit a kindergarten. There were children inside. They appear to be okay because they're in a shelter, but terrible images of toddlers being pulled out of the rubble of a building there. So this war very much continues.
Patrick, you answered the question I was about to ask about the Tomahawks. I'll end with this quick question. Now that the talk and the summits are off, is there a possibility that the United States actually finally throws some sanctions against Russia?
So again, there was a Republican-led and bipartisan effort to impose much tougher sanctions on Russia. And President Trump had said that now was not the time, again, because of this summit, which is something he has done before. And, you know, generally, each time we've come to a point where President Trump seemed about to put pressure on Russia, whether it was sanctions or providing stepped-up military support to Ukraine, he's backed off. And usually the line is, we'll give it another 2 weeks, basically. And this summit was supposed to take place in another 2 weeks. Now the summit's gone. It's hard not to feel we're in a kind of Groundhog Day situation. But certainly the message that the Kremlin is receiving is that President Trump is very reluctant to put more pressure on Russia and is very ambivalent about supporting Ukraine. And from the Kremlin's perspective, that means it should just keep going.
Patrick, great stuff as always. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, in the meantime, the battles commence and a lot of overnight shelling by Russia into Ukraine. That's a disappointment that summit is not going to happen. We're going to come back. We'll get the latest on J.D. Vance, the vice president's visit to Israel. But first, we got some traffic pacing on the west side perimeter causing a big jam. Hello and good morning, Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Yeah, we're watching the slow crawl on 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side, leaving South Cobb Drive, exit number 15. Due to that traffic pacing you mentioned, getting down to I-20, exit 10. They've also been doing it 285 northbound, the inner loop, leaving Cascade Road. This is only going to be temporary, though, so no need to move over for an alternate route. These delays should only last for a few minutes, and then all lanes will reopen. Elsewhere, you got construction up in Emerson and Cartersville, 75 northbound, passing Red Top Mountain Road, exit 285. Due to that construction causing a bit of a slow zone there. Traffic brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by them.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, you're their priority. From personalized service to luxury amenities, they make sure you feel valued every step of the way. Buying or servicing, your experience matters. Call 800-NEW-LEXUS. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed.
Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Are you worried that when the temperatures drop this winter in Atlanta, your old furnace is not going to keep you warm and toasty? Fear not. My friends at Reliable have an amazing preseason special right now on a new furnace. Hey, it's Mark Aram here. Any size furnace, just $59.99 a month. Unbelievable. Plus 0 down, low monthly payments, and all future repairs, maintenance, even filters. No additional charge for life. Plus an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Incredible. Reliable offers fast furnace repairs with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, 24/7 service, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Preseason furnace special going on right now for my pals at Reliable. I want you to book an appointment right now. Go to reliableair.com and click on the Book Now button. That's reliableair.com. Or call or text 770-594-9969.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
The Findlay Roofing Chief Barking Officer, Rufus, has the zoomies. He's rolling over about saving you $1,000 off your roof replacement. That's a lot of bones. Hey, it's Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Stop repairing the leaks and dragging your feet. For a limited time, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Happy 57th birthday, singer Shelby Lynn. This is Anyone Who Had a Heart. Unfamiliar with Shelby Lynn, Deborah. Do I need to know who Shelby? Should I know who Shelby Lynn is?
I know the name, but
she's got a great voice.
Catalog better than Lori Morgan.
Well, how dare you? Lori Morgan is iconic. She's, someday we'll be on the Mark Arum Show. Deborah, you know what? Let's give us away some tickets before I update Israel and Hamas.
All right, it's our last pair of tickets to go see Chris DiStefano at the Tabernacle tomorrow.
22nd day of the government shutdown, so caller number 22 to Vinny Drip at 404-872-0750. 22nd caller, Vin, sorry, buddy, 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see Chris DiStefano tomorrow. So if you can't go tomorrow, don't call and clog up the lines because Vinny's got to screen 22 callers to get to you. 404-872-0750. All right, Vice President J.D. Vance has been meeting with Israel's prime minister and president. He also will meet with newly freed hostages and their families. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams has more from Tel Aviv.
After 2 years of devastating war in Gaza, President Trump's peace plan is still in its early stages. So we asked this question. What do you think the likelihood is that it will last long term? If you had to put a number on it, a percentage.
Can I say with 100% certainty that it's going to work? No. But you don't do difficult things by only doing what's 100% certain.
Now, for its part, Hamas says it's still committed to the truce. And last night it returned the bodies of 2 more hostages.
Knock on wood, after the Sunday end of the ceasefire, it's back on track. Again, it's a fragile story. You know the history. I don't have to go through the history of the Middle East. So we're cautiously optimistic that this will continue. But JD, the fact that the vice president is there with his wife tells you how important it is to the administration. But knock on wood, it is still going well. Not a good story here. We talked about chicken wing smugglings. There was a restaurant shooting in Gwinnett County, Deborah. Tell me about this story.
So a customer is accused of opening fire on Harold's Chicken and Ice Bar, and this was this past weekend. And the owner said that it all started because one of the customers couldn't pay their bill, and I guess they came back a little bit later with somebody, and they shot a bunch of rounds at the glass doors and windows just as the restaurant was closing, but there were still several staff members inside. Police were able to catch him, and he is facing 10 counts of aggravated assault for firing a Mac 11 machine gun. Not just, it's bad enough
not
if you're
a
doing
22.
a drive. Yeah, exactly.
So this was, what's the name of the restaurant?
It's called Harold's Chicken and Ice Bar. It's in Gwinnett.
Ice? Chicken and ice?
Ice bar.
I love chicken and rice, Oros do Compollo, right? Or did I? Yeah, was that?
Sure.
All right. Vinny got audio, a phone call with the owner of Harold's Chicken and Ice.
My heart is very heavy. It just takes one bullet, and it could have went left. I just thank God that no one was hurt. This had just something to do with a customer that was inside, and they could not pay their bill. We did have security. We're going to do everything possible to make people feel safe. It shouldn't go south where somebody that made just a horrible, horrible decision could possibly put a business out of business because of something like that. You know, I've been here for 5 years, and just take back our community.
Imagine being a small business owner. You got so much stuff to worry about, let alone, what do you say, a Mac 7?
It was a Mac 11 submachine gun.
Goodness gracious. Can you do me a favor, Deborah, during the break? I want to see the menu of Harold's Chicken and Ice Bar and Grill. What kind of, I just want to see the menu. See what I would order there. Maybe I'll run up there, show support. All right, news, weather, and traffic when we come back. Day 22 of the government shutdown. TSA warning folks here in Atlanta, expect long lines through security. We'll get you caught up to date on the top local stories next on The Mark Arum Show.
If your basement has any issues like condensation, wet floors and walls, or musty smells, that can be a sign that your home might be due for waterproofing. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions can help. Just visit aquaguard.net and set up a free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard. Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Main Street Auto. A hole opened up in a bridge on I-75 south of Atlanta. You heard us telling you about it in Atlanta's morning news. It led to major delays for drivers.
I-75 northbound was closed for hours at the bridge over Meadowbrook Lane in Clayton County, all because a hole opened up in the structure.
Some material of the bridge fell from below the bridge. We need to get in there and fill what would be considered a pothole, likely on a roadway, but since this is on a bridge, it's different.
The Georgia DOT's Natalie Dale says crews may need to return later today or later this week to make additional repairs depending on the findings of inspectors. For now, they're doing a quick fix ahead of a more long-term solution. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Thank you, Austin. Your weather for today, sunny, breezy, staying on the cool side, afternoon highs in the upper 60s, lower 70s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. All right, we do have an update on that deadly pedestrian accident we told you about Tuesday afternoon. It was on Claremont Road and Dresden Drive. A woman hit and killed in a crosswalk. Brookhaven police this morning now releasing the name of the driver of that dump truck that hit her. He's been identified as 54-year-old Omar Ali of Mableton. Police say he left the scene after hitting the woman, but then returned about 20 minutes later. He is now facing several charges this morning, including vehicular homicide and felony hit and run. This is National Teen Driver Safety Week, an opportunity for parents and young drivers to review important safety habits. Reminders about speeding, texting, and drinking are common, but tire safety, it's often overlooked. Alex Bebak lost his teenage son in a tragic accident involving bald tires. He's started the Road Ready Foundation now to raise awareness about concerns like proper inflation.
Lack of inflation in your tires is actually very, very dangerous. It changes the control of your vehicle, the stopping distance, and actually can create blowouts.
He says drivers should also check their tread on their tire, the depth of it. Also look for cracks, tears, bulges, or foreign objects in the tires. He says it's an easy habit to develop and to check your tires whenever you're filling up your gas. Vice President J.D. Vance has been meeting with Israel's Prime Minister and President. Senior forward correspondent Holly Williams has more this morning from Tel Aviv.
The Vice President is here in the Middle East to try to push all sides to stick to the fragile ceasefire in Gaza, including Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, with whom he met this morning. Remember, just 3 days ago, Israel briefly resumed its deadly strikes in Gaza, with 45 Palestinians left dead, according to health officials.
And Vice President Vance also will be meeting with newly freed hostages and their families. Governor Kemp is on his way to South Korea. This comes 6 weeks after federal agents raided the massive Hyundai battery plant in South Georgia. Now, this trip was planned before that happened. The governor is expected to meet with the leaders of corporations with plants located here in our state and try to reaffirm the relationship between Georgia and South Korea. The World Health Organization this morning calling for more attention to be given to addressing neurological disorders. The organization saying that those conditions now impact more than 40% of the global population. WHO saying that many countries don't have a policy to address it. Low-income countries have more than 80 times fewer neurologists compared to high-income nations. The organization saying many of the neurological conditions can be prevented or effectively treated, but services remain out of reach for most. Neurological disorders account for more than 11 million deaths globally every year. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently down 139 at 46,784. NASDAQ is down more than a full percent, and the S&P is down almost 0.5% here at 1134. It's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us now with a look at your roads.
Hey, Sabrina, we're picking up some new delays through Buckhead, Georgia 400 southbound, now slowing before Lenox Road, exit 2. Looks like a crash just south of those financial center tunnels there, south of Lenox Road. We're trying to figure out what lane is blocked there. Nonetheless, the brake lights are filling in behind it. Elsewhere, traffic pacing has wrapped up over on the west side perimeter. Everything back open, 285, both north and southbound, right around I-20. And we're still seeing some brake lights up into downtown, 75, 85 northbound, leaving I-20, and I believe I just found some new trouble in the center lane up around Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Sunny, breezy, and cool today with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour, pulling in that cooler, drier air. Lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday with highs in the mid-70s.
It's 64 degrees in College Park, 62 in Dunwoody. Roswell has 60 degrees right now. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
The way you should live your life is look at the way they're doing it at D.C. and then just run.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
Other people are getting away with it, so you should get away with it.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Well, your best day ever would have been a Tuesday. Who knows?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
He's using private funds to do it. How in the world could they oppose that? The only logical reason is because they have Trump derangement syndrome.
Speaker Mike Johnson commenting on the demolition of the East Wing at the White House for the new ballroom. We'll update that story. Plus, Deborah's got amazing tickets to give away next on the Mark Arum Show.
When you come home after being away, you see your home with fresh eyes. And eventually, you'll roll up to your old garage door and finally notice how chipped and faded that rusty old slab really is. But that's the first thing people see when they come visit. A 250 square foot bent aluminum lime green garage door that also squeaks. Welcome to our home. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our design consultants can help you find a strong, quiet, modern garage door that anyone would be proud to come home to. Modern materials that won't crack, dent, or fade. In contemporary styles that showcase your home's design. Call Mo Better Garage and let us show you just how joyful arriving back home can be.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
More and more these days, people are in pain, are taking control of their health and looking beyond the traditional medicine. Hey, it's Mark Arum. That's why QC Kinetics is so successful. People with chronic joint pain are learning that there are other options besides steroids, meds, and surgery. Patients fighting pain are getting lasting relief using advanced cellular treatments. It's QC Kinetics regenerative medicine that can revitalize your joints using growth factors from your own body. And check it out, guys. It's a simple injection. No hospital stay. It's fast, all natural, and no downtime. I want you to call QC Kinetics and get a free consultation. Exercise your freedom to look beyond the same old solutions. Thousands of patients around the country finding a better life with QC Kinetics and their amazing regenerative treatments. Call now to get started. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. Appointments available on Saturdays. Lawrenceville, Sandy Springs, Marietta, Stockbridge, Decatur, and Douglasville.
Fall is a busy time, and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can bypass the market, receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry, and close in as little as 21 days. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Properties come in all shapes and sizes, and so do foundation repairs. Mark Beckham here. It could be new construction, a big house, a small house, or your commercial property. Anyway, you need the leaders in foundation repair to handle it. Get your free estimate at atlantaramjack.com.
He packed in the animals 2x2, ox, camel, and a kangaroo.
11:38 on the Mark Arum Show. If you are watching the live stream at WSBRadio.com or YouTube, you're wondering, why is Arum wearing a T-shirt? Deborah, these are special 25th anniversary WSB Carathon Children's Healthcare of Atlanta T-shirts that the staff was gifted today by CHOA, and we just took a picture in the live lounge of all of us wearing the T-shirts. So if I'm not slacking off, this is showing pride in the Carathon. I posted the picture. You were in the picture. Longoria and Drip were not in the picture.
Well, Longoria was in here doing stuff.
He was working, and we didn't have a medium-sized for Vinny. But if you want to see the staff wearing the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta T-shirt, it's up on my Instagram account, at Mark Arum, MarkArum. All right, before we get to an update on the White House Ballroom, Deborah, we have one more pair of tickets to give away, my friend.
Yeah, tickets to see Bryan Adams and Pat Benatar at Gas South Arena on November 6th.
All right, Vin, 22nd caller again, my friend. 22nd caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see not just Bryan Adams, but Pat Benatar, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. Yesterday and today, talking about the ballroom being added onto the White House and the damage that's being done on the east wing of the White House. The National Trust for Historic Preservation, a nonprofit chartered by Congress, urging the Trump administration to pause the demolition of the east wing of the White House until a review of President Trump's ballroom plans are completed. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, was asked about the construction underway at a news conference this morning.
We've had many presidents renovate and add things to the White House. Teddy Roosevelt built the whole West Wing. Who was it? FDR, Taft, I think, added the Oval Office.
Yeah, it looks like full steam ahead, though, on the ballroom. I have no problem with the addition of the ballroom. I just I wish they would keep everything intact that was already there. That's part of, our national history. But obviously the White House has undergone changes since it was burned down in the early 1800s. All right, yesterday after the show at Longoria, we missed out. People at WSB Radio lost their mind. The world-famous Oscar Mayer Wiener Mobile pulled up to the WSB radio station, and we missed out. I'm assuming on a lot of goodies and maybe even a hot dog or two. Joining us now on the Mark Arum Show, Isaac Sales and Meatloaf Maggie, the two minds, the masterminds behind the Wiener Mobile. Good morning, folks. I'm sorry I missed you yesterday.
Good morning. What's cooking over there?
Did I miss out on free hot dogs yesterday?
No hot dogs, but we did serve up our lifetime hot dogs, which are some wiener whistles.
Vinny was lucky enough to get a wiener whistle. What exactly? Is it like the bat signal? If you blow on the whistle, wieners will show up. Is that how it works?
I like to say that if you blow them outside, the Wienermobile can hear you. But they're really special. You can only get them when you see the Wienermobile in person. So, yeah, it's definitely that, like, I saw it token that you can get when you come and visit us.
How long have you guys been driving the Wienermobile, or who drives and who navigates?
So we both drive this Wienermobile, and we've been on the hot dog highways for about 4 months now.
And how long, for folks that have never seen it in person, how big is the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
I mean, it's a pretty big dog. It's 27 feet long, 8 feet wide, and about 12 feet tall. It's also 60 hot dogs long and 24 hot dogs high if you prefer those conversions, which I definitely do.
Is it a gas guzzler? Do you have to fill up all the time?
We like to say it runs on high-octane mustard, and don't worry, we definitely get plenty of smiles per gallon.
Now, because there's two of you, I'm assuming you can use the HOV lanes and help avoid traffic sometimes in the Wienermobile.
We don't typically use the HOV lanes when we drive. We also, we like to stay in that right lane where we can see everybody, bring plenty of smiles and waves while we're driving. It's a lot of fun. Definitely like a parade everywhere we go when we're out there on the highway.
And what's
definitely was coming into Atlanta.
Yeah, what was the reaction when you're on the interstates and you're driving the 27-foot-long Wienermobile? What do your fellow motorists do? I mean, all smiles, I would imagine, as you pass them, or they pass you.
No, yeah, we definitely get some love when we're out there on the roads. People are always honking and waving, taking pictures, things like that.
All right. So 4 months in, is this the career? Is this the next 20 years? Isaac Sales and Meatloaf Maggie, that's your job?
So each hot dogger only gets to drive the Wienermobile for 1 year.
And then a lifetime supply of dogs, I would imagine, after you retire into the sunset.
Definitely the lifetime honor of getting to say you were one of the drivers of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. You know, more people have been to space than have actually driven the Wienermobile.
Well, I mean, I could just imagine. That looks pretty good on LinkedIn. Previous job. I was Meatloaf Maggie. I
frankly an honor.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sorry I missed you guys, but thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, I'll see you later.
And we just want to say
Yes.
before we go, you can catch up with us in Atlanta this week. We got 2 events on Thursday, the Mountain Moonshine and Car Show Festival on Friday, the West Fest at the Booth Art Museum on Saturday, and the Spooky Pooch 5K in Atlanta on Sunday.
Wow. All right. You guys are busy bringing smiles from the Wienermobile to all of North Georgia. Thanks so much for your time, guys. Isaac Sales. I've never seen people freak out. Like, we've had big celebrities here. The amount of people that posted pictures from the Wienermobile in the parking lot yesterday, crazy. I missed out. Hey, congrats to Tammy from Cumming. She won a pair of tickets to see Pat Benatar and Brian Adams, courtesy of the Mark Aram Show. This is interesting, Deborah, as we approach the Christmas shopping season. I thought Toys R Us was defunct, but Toys R Us apparently making a comeback this Christmas season.
Don't call it a comeback, but
I've
yes,
been here for years.
Toys R Us is coming back for the holidays. They're going to open up about 8 flagship stores around the country and then 20 temporary ones. So kind of like Spirit Halloween or those Christmas stores that pop up just for the season. Now, Toys R Us did file for Chapter 11 back in 2017, but they've had like this renewed people, especially wanting some retro toys. And you've seen maybe displays in malls and some department stores. So they've got all this traction. So now they're going to have them just for the season. However, none in Georgia, 2 in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't want to grow up. We're Toys R Us kids.
So,
I'll show you where
when this commercial came on when I was a kid, I would lose my mind. Like, Toys R Us is kid heaven. Sadly, there were no Toys R Us near me. You either growing up?
The closest one would have been Milwaukee. Yeah, so like over an hour.
It's pronounced Milwaukee. Let me hear the end of this.
Greatest toys that there is. More games, more toys. Oh, boy! So come and be a Toys R Us kid.
There were none with that. I remember seeing the commercials on Saturday morning cartoons going, Mom, can we go to Toys R Us? And then she'd slap me. No, I'm just kidding. But we had KB Toy and Hobby.
We had KB Toy.
Yeah, I love it. It's now a feed store. The KB Toy and Hobby. Oh, it's actually, let me correct. It was a long building. KB Toy and Hobby. Used to love going to that store. Half of it is a feed store. The other half is a liquor store. So you get your feed.
Tracks for the town I grew up into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I remember dying to go to a Toys R Us. And I think eventually one came in Connecticut and I went. But yeah, so all right, Toys R Us. Good news for the kids coming back. All right, quick update of our local stories when we come back after a check of traffic. It's 11:46 on the Mark Aram Show. Live with the latest, it's Alex Williams.
Hey, Mark, jammed up around the airport, 285 westbound. The interloop delays start right in those airport tunnels as you make your way past Riverdale Road and I-85. It is that rolling left lane construction that continues once again. They continue to make their way westbound toward Old National Highway, so be aware of that. Elsewhere in Buckhead, we're seeing brake lights. 400 southbound passing Lenox Road and through the Financial Center tunnels due to a crash on 400 southbound below Lenox Road, exit 2, blocking at least one left lane there. And also you have the right lane road work out of Decula into Lawrenceville, 316 westbound at High Hope Road, causing brake lights from Cedars Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
Some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is Amco Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in Amco just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to Amco.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned Amco near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA.
MCO.
That's the sound of a reliable customer after getting $1,000 cash back for upgrading to a high-efficiency water heater. Only $69.99 a month with an unbeatable lifetime warranty. And that's someone who added a whole home water purification system and got another $1,000. Do both and stack up to $2,000 in holiday cash. Visit ReliableAir.com for your free consultation. Stay warm, stay hydrated, stay paid with Reliable.
Hey, if you're bringing some friends over to tailgate this fall or cook out or having the family for Thanksgiving later, do what I've just done and call Wise Guys Pro Wash. They've gotten my house and driveway, my patio spotless, even the wooden gates out back. They even cleaned the roof, and I didn't even have to be there. The crew used the top equipment in the industry in their soft wash and kept my home safe and damage-free. You call them. First-time customers mention my name, Chris Chandler, and book now to get $70 off your first wash at wiseguysprowash.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere, live, to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Annuities, not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to Medi-Share, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they're paying for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up and the cost of healthcare, Medi-Share has a special offer, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Just apply by October 31st, and they'll waive your new member fee. You're saving $100 right off the bat. That's just the start. Obviously, the typical family saves up to $500 a month after making the switch. And Medi-Share is a Christian community that shared more than $9 billion in medical bills over the years. It's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second. If you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings too. Here it is. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs.
You might remember him as Dr. Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park or The Fly. Vinny's generation probably knows him as the Apartments.com guy, but happy 73rd birthday to actor Jeff Goldblum. Happy 73rd. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Earlier in the show, we were talking, Deborah, with political analyst Stephen Lawson. I mentioned that story out of Maine. The Senate candidate in Maine has covered a tattoo now that was widely recognized as a Nazi symbol. CBS's Mike Wallace with the update.
Democrat Graham Plattner, who is running for longtime Republican Senator Susan Collins' seat, says he got the skull and crossbones tattoo on his chest when he was in his 20s in 2007 while serving in the Marine Corps. He says he was unaware until recently that the image is associated with Nazi police. Plattner recently apologized for his online statements that dismiss sexual assaults in the military, question the tipping habits of black people, and criticize rural Americans and police officers.
Ooh, anything you post or tweet or text is going to come back to bite you if you run for office. So I wanted to update that story that we were talking with political analyst Stephen Lawson. Deborah, you mentioned yesterday the cost of turkey going through the roof, not because of inflation or tariffs, but because of the bird flu. But if you want to save money, apparently, on Thanksgiving dinner this year, did I read this right? Walmart has a Thanksgiving meal that's $4 a person?
That's what it'll cost you. If you break it down, it would be $4
Okay.
a person. And it's all together once. All you have to do is pick up one big box and it's ready to go. You don't have to go to the shelf and grab this or that or whatever. It's all together. And it's a pretty good deal here. So it's a butterball turkey, 13 pounds, not too bad. You also get some fried onions, a can of mushroom soup. You get a box of stovetop stuffing, not the Walmart brand, stovetop.
It's the best stuffing on the planet.
They'll
Yes.
throw in some dinner rolls. You get a 5-pound bag of potatoes, 12 ounces of fresh cranberries. So if you're into the canned kind, you have to go get the canned kind. But also you got 2 pounds of baby carrots, 3 cans of corn, 3 cans of green bean, 3 boxes of mac and cheese, 2 packets of gravy, some pie crust, a can of evaporated milk, and a can of pure pumpkin puree, which is a pretty good deal.
So
it's everything there.
How much is it like that? I mean, it breaks down to $4 a person, but how much is the box and how many people is it going to feed? Does it say?
It says it feeds 10 people. It doesn't give me the whole, the flat price, but it just says it breaks down to $4 a person.
That's not bad. I honestly, if you give me just turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, stovetop stuffing, mashed potato, that's really all I need. I like green bean casserole. I don't need the cranberry sauce. Just give me turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy on all of it, and I'm good to go. $4 a pop at Walmart, Longoria. You got a big family. Size-wise, not
Longoria's
stoutliness.
fact of the day.
Yes, I understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a large family. All right, today is National Nut Day. And macadamia nuts, did you know they're extremely poisonous to dogs? Peanut butter. Americans spend nearly $800 million a year on peanut butter, and 6 cities in the U.S. are named Peanut.
Why did Vinny laugh out loud?
I don't know.
I could
hear that.
I could hear him through the bulletproof glass on National Nut Day.
National Nut Day, yeah.
I got nothing. Deborah, you want to? I just
nothing.
I'm gonna stay away
Mark
from that.
doesn't even like peanuts. He eats cheese crackers.
I like cashews. That's one of my snack. I'll eat peanuts if I have to, but it's weird. I don't like peanut butter. You could offer me $100,000 right now. I'm not going to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I had when I
you got sick, right?
When I was in 3rd grade. So I don't like peanut butter in general, but I like Reese's peanut butter cups. And
It's a different kind of peanut butter.
I don't know. Yeah, but if you just open a jar of peanut butter and I smell it, I'll kick you out of the room. It's so, this another reason I can't run for office. That I'm just weird like that. Anyway, enjoy National Nut Day, Vinny.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum Star of the Show?
All right, there's only one star of today's show. I'm not going to water it down. It is Deborah Green, the birthday girl. Deborah, happy birthday. I know you hate the birthday attention, but
thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate it.
Derek Dooley had to remind me to wish you a happy birthday, which is pretty phenomenal that he knew today was your birthday. So you're the sole star of the show.
Liz Cumpenlalos.
Thanks, Belinda. But if we were not just spotlighting Deborah, we would have given stars of the show to Thane Rosenbaum, political analyst Stephen Lawson, Scott Slade with really, really good stuff. Candy Pickard, the CEO of the National Down Syndrome Society, she joined us live. The 2 bananas driving the Wienermobile, they were fun. I'd give them stars of the show. Also, Patrick Revel in London, correspondent Rory O'Neill. I bought chicken biscuits. Alex picked up chicken biscuits. Longoria brought pastries. But you're not getting stars. Those are all honorable mentions. And maybe we should do that moving forward, Deborah. Just give 1 star of the show.
1 star of the show and then the rest pity stars?
Well, no, honorable mentions. They don't count. Maybe we'll do that in 2026 if we're still employed.
I'll let Vinny keep track of those.
Exactly. Well, no, that's the thing. You don't even have to keep track of that. I'm trying to make your life easier on your birthday. Just a single star of the show. Anyway, happy birthday, Deborah. Social media is up and active throughout the day at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a